Recap. What? Not yet. A very, very good morning to all our viewers and a very good morning from Traceability Studios. My name is Eva Buyu and I'm your moderator for day 2 on Traceability Week. Before we proceed, let us have the etiquette and see how best we can continue the day and be able to ask. First, we ask each and every one of you to rename your screen. Put in your company name so that it is easier for us to discuss and chat back with you. We ask you to switch to speaker view immediately we shall begin so that you're able to view the presenter as well as the notes as we continue. Engage with us via the chat so that every other question you ask or comment, put it on the chat section and we'll be able to be there with you. Be very collaborative, ask questions, represent your company well as you always have done. Be present. We ask you to mute your microphone and try to be very considerate. Avoid multitasking because this is going to be a very exciting day too. And before we continue, let us have a recap in regard of yesterday. Thank you very much for all the 70 plus people who joined us yesterday and in every other thing that managed to happen. We will have a quick recap in regard to what happened yesterday, and we began by GS1 standards brief. In that regard, we were building trust, and it was about building traceability with quality, valid, and complete data. Joseph Olo took us very well through this first session and took you through the attributes and many other things that you need to learn as a member and as an aspiring member of GS1 Kenya. Further to that, we went on our little health break, which today will be quite short as compared to yesterday. We also had Rinta and Michael Munavu, who managed to take us through retail and marketplace with GS1 standards. This was the experience on AI with the Soko Power and the Soko Chart experience. This is key for all of us who are consumers and what we have managed to do. Definitely after that, we managed to go through our panel discussion where we discussed very many issues in regard to traceability, AI in regard to our theme for this particular 4th Traceability Week. Remember, the hashtag is Traceability Week. So today, we would like to take you through our program in regard to that. And our program for today is quite to the point, but very, very exciting, I must say. If you go to meet with me through the screen, you'd be able to understand that today we get to learn more about standards in academia, as well as transforming healthcare and supply chains. And we'll get to delve in more in terms of the patient journey and again have our panel discussion. With me now today, I would like to introduce our first speaker of the day, who is going to be Geoffrey Allo. And Geoffrey has been in GS1 Kenya for more than 3 years, holds a degree in statistics, definitely a lot of mathematics, I can tell you. But if Geoffrey was not doing a lot of mathematics, I think in his other life, Geoffrey would be one of the fathers who give a sacrament for those who go to church. Well, Geoffrey is going to be able to take you through GS1 standards in academia, advancing research, innovation, and industry readiness. We'll have definitely the caution law, and Geoffrey will join us on stage. Welcome, Geoffrey. The stage is yours.
GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusal to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussions, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of council can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below, if you would like to read it in its entirety.
Thank you, Eva, for that wonderful introduction. Of course, mathematics is one of the key subjects that I used to love and I equally love today. So as the introduction have been stated clearly, we are going to look at how we can build industry excellence in GS1 standards training and how we can build staff capacity, of course, with the GS1 technical expertise. So we are going to have a very in-depth agenda. 4 things we are going to look at is the strategic, we are going to ask ourselves the strategic role of GS1 standards. What is it that these GS1 standards are doing in the current supply chain? Then we're also going to look at some of the training solutions that we offer here at GS1 Kenya to our members, to the general public, and even to the staff of our members. We're also going to look at the impact of the GS1 standard training that has been realized so far. Of course, from the feedback we've received from the various member companies we've visited, and we've participated in certain forums. The other thing is also it's key to look at the future. What is the future of the training and staff capacity building when it comes to GS1 standards? Now, we've learned something to do with the supply chain. Of course, people who are in businesses, we must understand how our products are moving from one point, say, for example, from your manufacturing point to the time it goes to the consumer. And as the the current consumer is. The current consumer is a learned consumer, and also they are trying to ask various questions. So what you're going to look at is how the modern supply chain, that is briefly how the modern supply chain is, and why do we need these technical GS1 standards knowledge, so that we can optimize or make efficiency at par in terms of tracking and tracing of our products. Of course, from yesterday's discussion, we've seen how GS1 standards play a critical role in building a modern supply chain. So, of course, there are key adaptations that we are asking ourselves as GS1 Kenya, and of course as the GS1 fraternity, and of course as the businesses who are manufacturing, supplying, or even distributing. Critical adaptations include increased consumer transparency. So current consumer is a consumer that needs more information. For example, they are asking questions related to where their current shipment is, right? The other thing is this type of product safe for their consumption? Then the other critical question they're asking is, this product that you are consuming, was it sustainably sourced? And therefore, modern technology is also becoming a thing. Businesses are moving towards technological advancements with inclusive of the artificial intelligence technology. And of course, our theme of today, of course, moving towards AI era. The other thing is governments are also tightening their regulatory landscape. And of course, sooner or later, we are going to see, for people especially for people especially in healthcare, we are going to start seeing information related to ensuring that your product can be tracked, can be traced, and then that information can be uniquely and authentically verified. And this calls for the need for trusted data. Verification of authentic information doesn't come with not only data, but data that is complete, data that is consistent, and that data that is accurate. And we cannot get these types of qualities of data without the core GS1 framework, or the core GS1 foundation, which is simply the common language of business. So the GS1's common language of business, of course, does three things. One is that it enables you as member organizations uniquely identify your products, your locations, your documents, your assets, your people, and so on and so forth. It also enables you to accurately capture critical product information, of course, using the GS1 barcodes, using the GS1 QR codes, and the data matrix. Finally, the other key critical common language is it enables you to automatically share information between critical trading partners. By trading partners, I mean you are in the supply chain. So you understand that when your product comes from manufacturing, it moves through various chains. For example, through distribution, warehousing, to wholesaling, and even to the retailer, and then finally the consumer. To the healthcare companies, it moves from you as a manufacturing, then of course to the distributor, then to the retailer, who are the pharmacies, and probably to the hospitals, and finally to the patient. So these key GS1 standards are very, very important for helping in managing the aspect of traceability. And of course, the knowledge of traceability is something that is very, very critical for our members to understand and impart their staff on. And that is why we are here as the GS1 training, or the GS1 Kenya training department. So briefly, the question we would be asking ourselves is, then what impact would this training bring to our organization? In retail, for example, every day, over 12 billion GS1 recognized barcodes are being scanned at the POS systems. That's around the world, not just within our region, but on a global scale. So the beep sound that we hear at the point of sale is through the GS1, or rather is powered by GS1 standard. And remember, back then, 1940s, 1950s, and even 1960s, this realization was not something that we could have even dreamt of until certain companies came to be, that is Universal Code Council, IBM, Universal Product. They developed rather Universal Product Code to be able to do a few things in the retail point of sale. And that one was involving the automation. So these scans, the 12 plus billion scans, they do more than just retail point of sale or checkouts. So they also do what we've just seen, automate. And then they also keep inventory clean and secure. And finally, they enable data accuracy. Now remember that manual entry of data creates chaos. Sometimes a cashier or a retailer or even your staff, maybe at their home, they didn't come to work very well. They start typing, you know. So when you start typing, maybe you miss a number, and therefore the records that you're keeping in the databases, they're not clean and they cannot be relied on. So therefore, the power of GS1 standard is realized when you just do a simple scan, no need of typing. You have your accurate data and records in your database. At the same time, businesses need more than just moving products. They need what we call traceability, that is ensuring that a product can be tracked and traced efficiently and effectively from your point of manufacturing to the point of consumption. The other thing businesses are in need of is efficiency, and finally, visibility. So consumers, regulators, and even trading partners expect products to be traceable. That is one. Supply chains to operate efficiently, and businesses to have real-time visibility of their products. And this is why the GS1 standards come in. But you see, implementing these GS1 standards, and for you to realize these three critical things in track and trace, in efficiency, and in visibility, that doesn't just come from a member picking the global trade item number, like was mentioned yesterday, and then inserting it in the product and then putting it in the supermarket. It requires some level of technical knowledge, some level of understanding about what GS1 standards are all about. It equally requires your staff who are in, say, for example, quality, ensuring that the quality of the product is good, marketing and sales department, and even the regulatory department to understand the critical knowledge of the GS1 system or standards application. So this is the knowledge that we as GS1 Kenya training, we are bringing on board to the members on this call, and even to the partners on this call. So what is this that you are looking at? Or why is it important for this training to happen? It is important for this training to happen because of the current skill gap. So there's a significant gap between what employees learn, of course, in the classrooms, and the practical skills that are required in today's supply chain. Of course, many employees have academic knowledge, but limited practical industrial experience. And this is the kind of gap that GS1's technical training will bring on board to you as members. I learned, for example, that 1 + 1 = 2. Then how would I apply that 1 + 1 in my current setup? If I were in the manufacturing setup, or if I were in the distribution setup, or if I were in the retail setup, how would I apply that knowledge? So basically, the unique identification, accurate capturing, and the timely sharing of critical product information is just a standard knowledge on its own, just like the GS1 standards. Now, it's important that we do some statistics here so that you understand why technical training is important. So according to a report by a good lady called Cynthia Pong, this report was published by Forbes in 2024, December 26th. She says that in her research, 90% of companies make better hires based on skills over degree. Very, very alarming percentage. And of course, that is the reality. So with this, then, the GS1 technical training could be one of, or is one of the major trainings that, or one of the major capacity building programs that will make this percentage reduce from the current 90% to even 50%. Of course, when we bring also other information like AI, bring information like supply chain management and so on and so forth. So now I would like to briefly introduce you to the kind of the GS1 training that is available. And as the research says, or as the research by Cynthia Pong shows that companies are changing not only what skills they need, but who they hire. So to meet these evolving demands, organizations need not only practical knowledge, but also industry recognized capabilities. And this is why GS1's Kenya training comes in. So at GS1, we impart staff with the critical skill to drive the knowledge of visibility, compliance, and ensure that there is high excellence in terms of your operation. And therefore, some of the modes in which we deliver this critical training, and of course, I'm going to list a number that I hope by the time we will be ending this call, I'll be receiving calls. Hey, Geoffrey, can we schedule a training for our staff so that we just learn from what GS1 is capable of? I believe that is a very important aspect that we need to look into. So one of the modes that we are incorporating in our training program is in-house corporate trainings. So these in-house corporate training are tailored to the specific needs of an organization. So we work with teams to deliver practical hands-on training that address your operational challenges. Why is my barcode not scanning, for example? So if you had a staff who understands barcode placement guidelines, wouldn't be good for your company, right? If you had a staff who understand the key GTIN allocation rules, at what point do we need to change a new GTIN? Would that be a plus for your organization as a GS1 Kenya member? The other thing, if you have a staff who understand how critical is to maintain a barcode color, just like those who were on call yesterday, that I need to put black dark bars on a reflective surface, wouldn't that be a plus for your organization as a GS1 Kenya member? So we are not only glued to, of course, ensuring that there is visibility, but those critical operational challenges, especially when it comes to visibility, those are the types of trainings that we come in to your premises and say, hey, look, partake of this training so that your staff understand what needs to be done when it comes to application of the GS1 standards in your supply chain. That is mode one, and I highly prefer in-house corporate training because it brings, or it makes us as GS1 Kenya and GS1 Kenya member, we relate with each other. So for the people I've visited, thank you very much for always welcoming us and for the good hospitality. Now we wish to get that from more and more members, get calls, disturb us. We want this training, so that we come and offer whatever is needed for your operational excellence. The other way in which we reach to people, or even to, of course, to your staff, is that we bring together professionals from different organizations to learn and share experiences. So these sessions provide knowledge of GS1 standards, industry best practices, and emerging trends. So the current emerging trends is that we are having AI. AI is booming. How does GS1 play a critical role in shaping the AI conversation? Of course, from our yesterday's broad presentation, we talked much about what AI is doing. And so GS1 is also part and parcel of that conversation. So those are the kind of emerging trends that we bring in our public seminars and workshops. So these public seminars and workshops play a critical role as key opportunities for one, just networking while gaining practical skills that can be immediately applied in your workplaces. So it is very, very important that as a member, you hear that GS1 Kenya is somewhere doing public seminar on how a standard can be used. Then appoint a staff to attend these critical knowledge sharing sessions. Another critical mode in which we display this training is through webinars. Of course, not everybody can access where we are seated, or where we are traveling to. So webinars forms part and parcel of reaching people who cannot access us in physical. So even the trainings, the major trainings that we handle, most of them for our members who are not near us, or say, for example, near Nairobi, we can't reach them. Webinar is a critical way of bringing this knowledge to you. So this is just meant for participants who want to learn from anywhere. And of course, our webinars cover very key issues, best practices in GTIN allocation, barcode placement, supply chain efficiency, and new innovations. And I'm happy that Traceability Week is going to showcase some of the key new innovations that we are bringing on board. So this will allow participants to learn from anywhere while engaging through live discussions. We are not just sticking to in-house training, public seminars, maybe through a call or through webinars. GS1 is innovating. So while the in-house training programs, seminars and webinars are ideal for staying current on key topics, many organizations also need a structured learning path that employees can complete at your own pace. So to meet this need, GS1 Kenya is creating, or has created, you see, if you say is creating, that means something that we've not done, has created an e-learning platform which is offering short courses on what GS1 standard is all about. So this challenge of creating this e-learning platform is something that we've gotten from many public seminars we've attended. So we go, for example, to recently we were at USIU Students Forum. So the student come in and says, GS1 is having a very good technical understanding of what a supply chain efficiency is all about. As a business student, so this is where the question and where the challenge gets in. I really want this knowledge. Now, apart from just visiting your organization, where else can I get this knowledge? Similarly, we were again challenged at Science, Technology, and Innovation Week, or Research and Innovation Week. And during this particular week, various stakeholders, various students, various universities, and various key institutions met to just understand the technological landscape of the current Kenyan digital market. Again, GS1 standards played a critical role. But the big question was, apart from what you are doing on the ground, yes, we really understand that you're helping manufacturers put their products in the supermarkets. Where else can we get this knowledge? For me, I don't want to come to GS1 Kenya to have this knowledge. Where else can I get this structured knowledge? So that is why we were challenged to develop this e-learning platform called Wasomi AI. So Wasomi AI forms a critical pathway to your learning endeavors on matters to do with GS1 standards. So what are we looking at in Wasomi AI? We are looking at an AI-powered platform that will bring structured GS1 standards, or that is bringing structured GS1 standards courses to you as a manager, to you as a supply chain supervisor, to you as a quality checker, to you as a sales and marketer, to you as a product designer. So Wasomi AI is a platform that you interact, of course, with us, but you also interact with AI on the aspect of creating critical questions that would make you your experience while interacting with the online platform. So we've created this Wasomi AI based on two critical roles, or based on two critical pathways. One of the critical pathways we are looking at is by your functional role. Everybody in the manufacturing or in the production line, or anybody within the laboratory, Maybe they need some ways of tracking critical information or just understanding what key information do I need to capture or do I need to put outside there for a consumer. The warehouse guys, people who are always doing fast in, fast moving of products. So GS1 has created these courses, one, by this critical role. And one of the role is warehouse and logistics. GS1, as we've said, is available or partakes in every key sectors that is here in Kenya and even the globe. Transport and logistics, manufacturing, distribution, what else? Wholesaling. And maybe our attendees could even list more and more of these sectors. So warehousing plays a critical role in storing our goods once they are manufactured. The question is, would you want your goods to be scattered all over, whereby if an order comes, you are shaking, you don't know where to start from. So ensuring there's proper alignment, of course, brings efficiency, brings traceability on board, and brings operational excellence within your warehousing. So GS1 standards training plays a critical role in this design. The other one is courses related to your brand. Brand management is what sells. When you put your brand outside there, it sells. It also makes you rather sell your products high. So GS1 Kenya has developed course outlines for ensuring that people manage brands in a manner that is good and will be adopted in a good manner. Finally, on terms of functional role, is packaging design. And of course, yesterday we were talking about transitioning from 1D to 2D, or rather, transitioning from linear barcodes to QR codes. So the packaging is becoming so constricted with the kind of information that needs to be inserted. So GS1 Kenya, again, has developed courses that is going to help you manage your package well in terms of implementing the GS1 QR code, of course, being that is our journey where we are going to, eliminating, not completely, of course, the linear barcode to the QR code. So putting that on your packaging is very, very critical. And of course, the knowledge of barcode verification was also very, very important. That knowledge helped you understand, of course, how to place your barcode, maybe for curved surfaces, maybe for regular surfaces. The other thing is, this one comes with, of course, the packaging design, how the color behaves when it meets the scanner. So this knowledge, if someone don't get it from somewhere, then that is when we receive certain calls like, my barcode is not scanning. Or, I am scanning water, I'm selling water, but when I scan my barcode, it's bringing a soda. Those are the kind of questions and calls that we receive from our offices. It comes with the knowledge about on how to package your, or rather design your package in a manner that conforms with the GS1 standards framework. Another pathway that you are looking at is designing courses that are related to sector. So sectorial knowledge is again very, very important. So one of the critical sectors that we are in is healthcare. Developing courses that are majorly aligned to patient safety, product recalls, serialization is coming also, right? So for people who are in healthcare or for manufacturers who are in healthcare, you understand by what we, maybe you understand or not. But with GS1 standards training, your staff and you as, of course, the head of the organization would understand why serialization is important and why, say, the World Health Organization is driving the need for traceability to know where your product is and consumer verification is enhanced. The other critical sector we are developing courses on is agribusiness, fresh foods. I want to know which pesticide was used on these cabbage or this sukuma wiki or this managu. So as the person inserting this information, does he or she understand the need for putting a trusted, complete, consistent, and accurate data for the sector of agribusiness? Another sector we are making courses on is construction. Of course, building materials need to be tracked and traced so that at some point when a building goes down, then we really know if it was the metal or the steel that had an issue that made that building come down, then we now can trace and track who supplied, who used it, at what point was it used, so that there is some level of accountability when it comes to traceability. And of course, we are not forgetting courses in manufacturing. We are not forgetting courses in retail and marketplaces, not forgetting courses in transport and logistics, and any other sector that is represented on this call. So in summary, the learning pathways are divided into 4 key modules or tracks. One is, of course, when we are starting the journey, we must understand the foundation. Where is the origin of GS1? Why is using GS1 standards important? And why is GS1 recognized to supply or to help businesses implement track and trace system? The other track is the knowledge of traceability, the ability to monitor or monitor the forward movement of products from manufacturing to consumption, and then the consumer being able to trace it back. That kind of knowledge is very, very critical. The other module or the other track is data quality. Currently, even the technological advancement that you're building, the AIs, they rely on accurate and trusted data. Without trusted data, then data quality is compromised. So GS1, of course, we are not creating new AI, or we are not at any way developing new AI, but we are leveraging the AI that is available to ensure that systems and operation communicate in an interoperable manner. So data quality is a very critical knowledge that staff and you as our member need to understand and need to take. Finally, is the supply chain. So these are just but a few of the tracks that you're looking at. But in case you as our member, maybe you feel whatever you want to learn about GS1 is not incorporated here, then we are happy to tailor these modules per your needs and per your references. So as an extension of the Wasomi AI, of course, they will be subjected to the learning pathways, and you will realize that you complete one module, you get your certification, you go to the next module, and so on and so forth, until it reaches a certain time where now your organization is really, really conversant and knowledgeable about what GS1 standard is all about. Now, remember, as we engage you as our members through in-house corporate training, through webinars, and through public seminars, it is equally important to start preparing for tomorrow's workforce. And this is why GS1 Kenya is working very, very closely with the academia sector to integrate digital supply chain competencies into learning programs. And of course, when we put in digital learning competencies of GS1 standards, supply chain efficiency, traceability, then at least the graduates who will be coming out of these classes would have the knowledge to apply in your operation from the very first day. So it's a very critical point that you are taking on to ensure that the learners, the high schoolers, the campus students, and even people who are just taking courses, of course, in the academia sector, to ensure that they are well learned in the academia. So what we are doing in this academia is that we are partnering with key academic institutions to align their curricula with industry needs by integrating these GS1 standards, and to ensure that graduates live with practical, globally recognized skills that make them job ready. So it is very, very important. And of course, we've had partnership engagement with key universities here in Kenya. And of course, we are looking at that in the next few years, maybe from the push of our members online, that I want an employee who can understand why supply chain efficiency is important. So GS1 is here for you, and that is what we are giving you by aligning our curriculum with the current setup of the universities. The other thing is, rather, in addition to the curriculum integration with academia, we are also participating in student-led initiatives where we help learners to gain practical exposures to digital technology and gain real-world supply chain experiences and even interact with the current supply chain challenges. So as a member who is on this call, what are some of the challenges that you face when it comes to your supply of products? I believe your input will also help us train these learners who we are interacting with on how they can shape or rather make these situations maybe disappear or limited. So it's very, very important that we engage so that as our member, you help us with the knowledge or with the challenge that you're facing currently on your supply chain needs, then you also bring it to the students to just try and simulate the challenge and bring in the aspect of GS1 standard so that we bring you a ready, mature, and experienced staff and employee on matters to do with GS1 standards. So the GS1 training has created a number of impact to the staff, to the businesses, and even to us as GS1 and GS1 Kenya organization. I want to focus on two things or two broad categories, the staff and of course the businesses. So these staff, they play a critical role in building your business, in making sure that that beep at the retail point of sale translates to cash in your pocket. And that is, of course, what helps you manage your organization. That beep sound, by the way, is what translates to you. If the cashier, say, for example, these major supermarkets, they say, we are having an issue with your barcode. We cannot insert your barcode in our database. Then one of the main things that you will face is delayed ordering. That is one. Number two is the supermarket will tell you to recall your products. And of course, when you recall your product, trust is lost. So for that trust not to be lost and for that beep to happen, then it is very, very important for you as a GS1 Kenya member to ensure that your staff is well equipped. And if your staff is well equipped, then we are looking at a 98% accuracy in your inventory. So with GS1 training, when employee just master the GS1 standards application, organization can see your operation being lifted at high. And of course, we've talked about the accuracy goal. This leads to, one, fewer scanning and shipment errors. What I've been talking about. Supermarket is calling you, your barcode is not scanning, or your barcode is scanning but is displaying a completely different product from whatever is in their database. So when your staff learn the critical application of the global trade item number and why it is necessary to use a global trade item number on a different product that has a different flavor, that has a different net content or quantity, then your databases hold key, critical, and accurate data. So this not only, of course, improve your operational efficiency, but ensures that product moves seamlessly across the supply chain. To you as a business owner, what is the critical or the key impact of ensuring that your staff is trained on the GS1 system of standards? It equips your employees with knowledge to capture and manage high quality data. And this data is not only one that is complete, it's one that is accurate, that is consistent, and that can be relied on. And hence, when you have good data quality, courtesy of this, of course, capacity building, It will strengthen your inventory management, product traceability, and decision making across the business. Number two, in terms of key impact, is that it enhances your regulatory compliance. And one of the presenters yesterday mentioned that the government, that is through Poisons and Pharmacy Board, in conjunction with Safaricom, DHA, and GS1 Kenya, we are developing something or a portal called National Product Catalog, whereby consumers or the patient will be getting trusted and verifiable information about the drug they are consuming at that particular moment. So it is a regulation. Is your business ready to comply with that kind of information or with that kind of regulation? And is your staff knowledgeable on what key standards they need to provide this national product catalog? Basically, that is the question that we should ask ourselves. If not, please contact GS1 Kenya for further engagement on training. Thirdly, just apart from improved data quality and, of course, regulatory compliance, the critical thing that we want to understand is how is my product moving from where we are producing it to where it is being consumed. That information is very, very critical. And that information is what we call traceability. So is your staff knowledgeable about what traceability is all about? So GS1 standards training, of course, will help your employee understand how product can be traced at every stage of the supply chain, be it from the manufacturing to warehousing, to distribution, to wholesaling, and even to retailing. So traceability is a topic that we should be comfortable discussing, and it's something that we should be comfortable implementing. And that is why, in the face of implementation, GS1 standards training comes in. Through in-house corporate training, through public seminars and webinars, through, of course, the Wasomi e-learning platform, which is very, very important for your staff to enroll in. And therefore, as this conversation goes on, we are not just seated somewhere, relaxing, waiting for, say, for example, Traceability Week to tell you about the training that we are having. We've been doing this for a while. And of course, for the businesses that have reached out, we say thank you for always inviting us. And so far, we've been able to impact a number of organizations, a number of professionals, and a number of key sectors. So I'm just going to give you brief statistics on what we've done so far so that you get the urge to call us and say, we want to be part and parcel of that statistics. We want to be part and parcel of that journey. 1,000+ members or 1,000+ key professionals. There are a lot of professions within a manufacturing setup. We've been in a company where each and every part in a manufacturing plant has got a professional. Does this professional understand why it is necessary to trace the product they are manufacturing? And does this professional understand why it is necessary to have trusted data for your supply chain efficiency? Be part and parcel of the 1,000+ key professional trained. 3 key priority sectors reached: healthcare, retail, and agribusiness. And we are also, the good thing is we are also developing centers of excellence for these key priority sectors. And of course, yesterday we saw Soko Chat and Soko Power. Today we are going to see another one. Tomorrow we will see another center of excellence. So this center of excellence, be part and parcel of this journey. For the future employees, we've been able to engage 25+ key industry institutions, not only research institutions, but also universities, high schools, and even at lower level, primary schools. So those institutions, we've told them, it is very, very necessary for you as a teacher, as a parent, or as a student to get this knowledge, because we are all business people. However much we may be in our learning institutions, we didn't do business lessons, but at some point, you would want to sell something. You would want to sell a cloth. You would want to sell maybe a product, a moisturizer, skin moisturizer, and so on and so forth. So it is very, very important for you as a student or for the employee you will be hiring in the next coming phase to be knowledgeable about what it takes to ensure that we have high operational efficiency with automation. And of course, when you're speaking about automation, GS1 standards can never be left behind in that conversation. So GS1 training, both locally and of course globally, is something that is offered by verified expertise. And with this, then, especially to the members who are in the healthcare sector, I have something for you. Every professional that gets trained with GS1 gets to earn a CPD point. That is continuous professional development points. And remember that each learning hour translates to 1 CPD point. So for the members in the healthcare, the question is, do you want to hire just a professional or a certified professional? GS1 Kenya is here for that. We are not forgetting about other bodies, of course. We are getting accredited with various boards for various key professionals within the industry and of course within the market. So at least when an engineer comes in the construction center and you want to maybe validate their credential, getting them the points is very, very critical, and they will make you you make them understand why it is necessary to go back and learn more about the knowledge of GS1 standards. The other thing we do is you take the e-learning on the Wasomi AI e-learning platform, right? You also do our in-house critical training. There is a certificate for you, a certificate that is recognized globally within the GS1 ecosystem. So maybe you have a staff who likes traveling and working overseas. Of course, critical information on supply chain efficiency is very, very important. So when they present their certificate, a recognized certificate that we've undertaken this particular course, it adds them marks and it brings validity and trusted or trustworthiness within your organization. As I finish this presentation, I want to leave you with three key things. One is that GS1 standards only unlock your organization's full value when your employee understand how to use them effectively. You just pick a global trade item number, you put it on a product, then you pick the same global trade item number, you put it on another product, there are problems awaiting for you at the supermarket. So make your employees eager and to understand why it is necessary to learn this knowledge. Continuous education on standardization and traceability and data management improves not only your data quality, but also speeds out your supply chain efficiency. So it is very, very important. And on a daily basis, maybe at the end of the day, there is this one critical term that we use. Today I've learned a new thing. So is GS1 standard a new thing? This new thing that you are going to your house or you are going to your staff with and say, today I have learned the core concept of identify, capture, and share. And I've learned why it is very, very necessary to have this knowledge within me. So partner with GS1 Kenya in this matter. Help us push these people to get more information or to hire employees that are industry ready, not just on the academic bit, but also on the technical aspect of supply chain efficiency. So we want to ensure that the 90% of Cynthia Pong, that of course of the research that was done, we saw later, reduces, so that the next time the lady conducts another research, at least she will have realized probably we are at now 70%, because Someone has gone outside on the ground and trained these people on why it is necessary to get technical skills. So I want to leave you with a few actionable skills or actionable steps that you're going to take from now onwards. One is that you as a member, you as an attendee on this call, you are going to contact GS1 Kenya to organize customized on-site or virtual training for your team. You have our number. If not, please reach out to us via our website, gs1kenya.org. Number two is that you are going to register someone who will be participating in our webinars and seminars, so that when they get out of these seminars and webinars, they have some key information about what is happening when it comes to supply chain. Number three is that you are always going to nominate someone who will always be ensuring that whatever you've done conforms with GS1. That GTIN that you've used on your product is from your active license. That barcode that you've put on your product clearly follows the barcode placement guidelines that you're going to, of course, train you on after this call. And finally, very, very important, ensure that you adopt the GS1 Wasomi e-learning platform to get these structured courses on what GS1 standards is all about. Thank you very much for listening. I welcome you to partake of this standards course training from today onwards. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey, for taking us through the morning session and being able to take us through academia. I'm sure by now we are getting a lot of inquiries, and thank you for your inquiries on Wasomi. Let us collaborate and partner. We'll jump into our next session, definitely, which is on healthcare. And definitely the person to bring us this in terms of transforming healthcare and supply chains, that is the GS1 standards for track and trace, which has serialization and product integrity. This is about traceability, but the person to bring it to us is Nelson John, who's the industrial team lead engagement. Nelson holds a degree in business management in terms of software and development, very passionate about healthcare, and currently almost done with his master's. And I don't think if Nelson was not really doing a lot of industrial engagement, he would either be a professor or a medical doctor. So let me welcome Nelson to come on stage as we continue. Welcome, Nelson.
Thank you so much, Eva, for that great introduction. And I welcome you all to this session. I believe the past speaker has been very, very informative. But I also like to remind you of a quote by Ted Nelson saying that information and knowledge alone is useless unless acted upon. So I want to challenge all of you to always remember that this session is not only to offer you knowledge and information, but to take the mantle and also act on it. So before even I start, I want to remind you to inform your colleagues. Maybe you are the only one who has joined in your company. Take time, call that colleague of yours to join in, because we are sharing a lot of nice information, but also things that are informative that are going to help you. And the section that I'm talking about is very important to all of us. I'm very passionate about healthcare because healthcare impacts each one of us. Because at a certain time, one of us is at the hospital getting the products, taking them in, and you may be wondering, where's the product coming from? So healthcare and how product integrity comes in and traceability is very key. To help us dive into this sector, I want to give you some insights regarding the entire ecosystem globally and how this sector is really performing. Pharmaceutical products market is valued at around $1.7 trillion, if you look at it, meaning that this sector is very, very critical, but also is part of the economy, the way we are living today. COVID reminded us on the importance of us having the full traceability, but also interconnectivity of all of us within the ecosystem. Because if products were not moving around the world to come to us in Kenya, maybe today we will not be here. So the sector as a general is really, really strong and it's impacting a lot. And expenditure in the sector has also risen to a very huge number. According to World Health Organization and the industry market reports, it's actually estimated that over $9.8 trillion are spent in this sector. So this level of investment that you as members, manufacturers are putting into this sector is really huge. And as GS1 Kenya, but also as GS1 and other parties involved in this sector, we also need to know the level of investment that the members and manufacturers are inputting. How do you ensure that this does not go to waste? By ensuring that all the parties that are trying to mess up the sector by mixing in falsified products, making the products unsafe for consumption, are also curbed. When you look at the medical device industry, it's also valued at around $650 billion. It's a sector that is growing extensively. And in Kenya, we have a number of members that are doing manufacturing. I want to thank you all for investing in this sector, because without you, we couldn't be here. You know, I believe each one of us has taken a certain drug. Right now, we are living in the cold season, and I know some people have Oma, flu in that case. So you always interface with this sector and products. The sector is growing at a very significant rate, at around 7 to 12% annually, and this is actually estimated to go through until 2035. So it shows you that this sector is really even growing at a very fast pace, more than the global GDP. You can imagine. And as we continue to discuss and the regulators put on more measures to enable us to have more visibility, more investment and value and money is being injected into this sector. So I want us to, first of all, have a look at this picture. The picture on your screen is basically showing you that this is a sector that is interconnected. When you look at the industry reports and the imports in Kenya, you find that most of the healthcare products coming into the country are basically actually imports. Manufacturing is also increasing at a very significant rate, but you see that even our local manufacturers also rely on third-party manufacturers in other countries, through contract manufacturing. We then have the distributors who are making it possible to move these products across the world. We have hospitals. We're actually now moving into the age of AI, where a doctor can treat you from here when they're in India or in China via AI. So you see, it's a sector that is connecting the world in real time. But with this kind of ecosystem comes a number of challenges. You know, a product is coming from UK, from China, you know, there could be a challenge in between. Someone can add a certain component, someone can divert the product, and to help us have more of the visibility that this global kind of operation may cause to our sector in general is very, very important. One of the key challenges that the global nature of the sector is really facing is fragmented systems. Every manufacturer has some level of traceability within their operations. But these systems are fragmented. They are working in silos. You find that your contract manufacturer in China has some level of traceability they've implemented, but it may be running only within their facility. So the product is handed over to probably another entity who is going to ship the commodities to Kenya. Even that entity has some level of traceability that they are using, probably to just see who this product belongs to, where has it moved, has it reached at the port, has this happened. So the nature of having multiple systems makes it not possible for very many people to have the visibility, but also to know what is happening on the products. The global nature of the sector also causes a challenge of falsification. Because products are moving across multiple regions and exchanging hands, there are multiple gaps where some products may fall in. Falsification is basically a term that we are actually encouraged to use a lot in this sector, because there are cases where you find a manufacturing, maybe saline, and someone else is also manufacturing saline. For those who don't know saline, the guys who are doing bread, saline is basically that liquid they put on you, the drip. So when you look at saline, there are many manufacturers of saline. Probably my brand is moving faster, Nelson Farmer. And then there's the brand there making saline, it's not moving. So what they do, they just copy my packaging and then they pack the saline. The saline may be actually efficient, it will work. But this falsification is actually misleading the consumer into thinking that it's actually Nelson Farmer. So there's that challenge because of the interconnected kind of ecosystem that we are living in. Counterfeits. There are those products that actually don't work, but they're actually in the sector. We have the case of diversion. And this is a problem that very many global partners, development partners are currently facing. You find that the partners are investing in our healthcare sectors. They are really doing a lot. They are donating products. You noticed COVID period showed us very well. Most of the African nations were unable to really fund the vaccines, but the global stakeholders came and really supported. But there were cases of diversion. You find that the product was meant to be in Kenya, is found in Congo, probably. So the ecosystem we are working in makes us really have so many challenges. And a very key thing that also happens is recalls. Today, if I asked you, look at your manufacturing. I believe most of you are members are manufacturing, and your end goal is also to have your product reach USA, probably, go to other nations. Are you able to really get the insights and have an efficient recall within minutes? If today you are tasked to do a recall, how long will it take you? At the end of my session, I have a poll where we shall be able to get these insights. And I want to encourage you to put in your questions, because we are talking a lot, we are sharing a lot of information, but I would also want to know and get your feedback. One of the other key challenge that our sector is facing as healthcare is cross-border inconsistencies. You find that every country, apart from you manufacturers having your own level of traceability within your premises, you have your quality control guys who are very strict, and I thank them because we visit very many manufacturing areas, and the level of strictness you guys are is really good, and we appreciate that because it shows me and us what you guys do to ensure that the products you manufacture are safe for consumption. But at the same time, you find that certain countries also have their level of strictness, but these levels are not working in conjunction with the global space. So to help us address all these challenges, we need to have one common language that will enable us to communicate in real time. That if Nelson Farmer submitted something to Justice Farmer, we are able to have that information engage and also seamlessly interconnect. And to help us build on that case, I want to show you this simple image of the supply chain. We have the manufacturer here, who is Nelson Farmer. We have a logistic provider there, Ezekiel Logistics. We have a distributor. Probably here I can have Justus or load distributors. And then they also have third-party distributors. So the chain of operations actually involving very many stakeholders. Nelson Farmer has implemented some level of traceability. I ensure in-house people are doing all the logs. They have to sanitize. They have to wear those gowns for the moon to ensure that they do not contaminate the products. And then I hand over to my logistics people to also transmit to the distributor. But you find that in that period between my factory and the distributor, something is happening. That's a gap, you know? So then even the distributor will break bulk to transport to retail pharmacies, or is actually exporting to others. There's a gap there. Then even the retail pharmacies are going to do last mile deliveries, probably to hospitals. And then even within the hospitals, we have to disseminate to the final patient. Until the product has reached the final patient, traceability has not ended. Me as Nelson Farmer, I can only confirm that my product actually is efficient until I am able to know, but also the patients who are using this commodity are sure and are able to have that information to me. We cannot achieve that visibility without traceability. And traceability is a term that we like really throwing around a lot. You hear people saying traceability. And sometimes people say the problem is traceability. No, the problem is lack of visibility or lack of access to information on how to verify a product. So traceability is the solution. And to help us understand traceability, we can break it into two. Traceability has two terms. We have tracking and tracing. So tracking is basically monitoring the product from the current location and forward movement of the product through the supply chain. So Nelson Farmer will give it to the next person to transmit it, the next person, next person. So are we able to follow this product across the chain? I like using an example that the day you know that the government or the DCIs are really doing their work is the day when the government is looking for you. That's when you'll know that traceability is really working. Because every day when you're using your communication devices, there's some level of traceability happening, however much we don't know. But until that information is necessary, they're able now to trace you. So tracing involves looking backwards through the recorded data to determine the product's origin. So I want to challenge you today. Is your product traceable? Do we have the information to help us look back and find the information where this product moved? You know? So as the product is moving through the supply chain, every stakeholder should be able to have this information documented, captured efficiently and accurately. And then at a certain time T, you never know as a manufacturer, probably something went wrong. And then the government tells you we need to recall this product. But are we able to efficiently know which consumers or patients actually consume this product? Imagine you as a manufacturer, you've fallen sick, they take you to the facility, they inject you with your product, and then you react and you want to recall it. Are you able to do that? Are you able to achieve that full visibility? Are you able to trace back? COVID-19 showed us this. Products were coming from abroad, were all required to have the vaccine, but people were skeptical. What if something wrong happens? What if something happens to me? You know, is there a way we can be able to achieve all this? You know, so as GS1 with all the other stakeholders, we are able and are currently doing all this. We are making it possible that full visibility is achieved. Because for us to have that visibility, we need to speak one language. That as Nelson Farmer, I manufacture, give Ezekiel transporters, they're also able to confirm and transmit that information. We are capturing the data. We go to the distributor. The distributor is also breaking bulk, but at the same time, we are able to have that information captured accurately and real time. It goes to the retail pharmacies. And yesterday, my colleagues were talking to you about the marketplaces and the evolution of retail. Today, I can order paracetamol just in my sitting room over the internet without even a need for prescription. So you see how the sector is really fragmented. We have OTC. For those who don't know, OTC is basically over the counter. Over the counter. You know, African ecosystem is really tricky. The Europeans and the others in the developed world have really tried to close those gaps because you cannot get medicine in some countries without a prescription. But in our country, you're able to do that. So it actually makes the challenge even bigger because we need to have that visibility in real time. As part of the measures to have this full visibility implemented. Countries across the world have put in measures, but also passed regulations on how this should be done. Because for us to have some level of standardization, we need a leader. And the regulator for us is this. So countries listed there have really implemented some regulations, and I'm glad to give you information that even Kenya, we are not lagging behind. We are already there. Just that from the flag you're seeing there and the map in the background, you can see that Africa, we are still taking our steps slowly by slowly, but the progress is being shown. We are listening and we are implementing. Kenya, last 2 weeks, the Farmers and Poison Board passed out a regulatory notice, and I believe most of you manufacturers have received this. Some of you are wondering, what is this? They're telling us by 1st January we need to have serialization. What is this? They're telling us to have this. Why do we need this? But I want to ask you a question. When you ask yourself, why do we need traceability? Imagine you go to a facility, your child is treated with the product and they react. The first question you'll ask, you'll learn to blame the pharmacy or the healthcare person that, didn't you know about this product? So this is helping each one of us to have patient safety. We cannot compromise patient safety, because at a certain time T, you and I could be facing the issue. So I normally like to recommending to our manufacturers, do not wait for the government to really be at your doorstep. Voluntary implementation is always the first step to go. Look within your operations and see, is this really going to improve our operations? Is this going to make our products actually more trusted in the ecosystem? Are we going to actually have more visibility and also more enhanced measures to avoid people counterfeiting our products? Am I actually empowering our consumers on how to be able to confirm and verify the products they are consuming? So regulation alone is basically to set the pace and show us that, you know what, we need to move in this direction. But implementation should be voluntary, but also at the same time, do not wait to be really at your doorsteps. As GS1, we are moving the talk. We've been moving the talk. And even in this session, I'm moving the talk. I want to first of all help you understand. In the regulation that has been passed by PPB and the DHA and the Ministry of Health, GS1 standards are being fronted as the key tool that is going to enable this interoperability, but also engagement. But one would wonder, why GS1? Why not anything else? Interoperability across systems is one of the reasons. I gave you a picture that the ecosystem we are operating in is fragmented. So we need to have a language that each one of us understands. The guys who are into fast-moving consumer goods, you can actually attest to this. Right now, you never really sit down and worry and think, I'm going to supply to this supermarket. Do they need me to change a barcode? I'm going to supply to Uganda. I want to export to USA. Do I need to change the barcode? I want to sell on Amazon. You actually never have to worry about that, because the GS1 codes and standards you already have on your products are already compliant with all these people. You just have to manufacture your product, package it well, talk to the buyer their side, agree, do your transactions behind the curtain, or formally, like you have the contracts established, and then you supply your products. The systems will communicate, the products will start scanning out. So even as we go, we have contract manufacturers, products are moving across the world. GS1 standards are making interoperability possible, because the unique IDs you're having on your products are accepted in all the systems. We have the standards that are enabling systems to communicate, the EDIs, electronic data interchanges. We are also, our standards are enabling supply chain visibility and efficiency. The data capture standards. Right now, you might look at your products. Some of you have the linear barcode, which has the GT, but again, you have the batch, expiry, and the serials in manual format. Do you know the challenges that the distributors are facing and the retail people to capture this batch information? They are typing. How much time are they wasting on that? Take, for example, if you are in a supermarket and the cashier is just typing the numbers, how frustrated would you be? So global standards, GS1 standards, are making this possible, that we are able to actually scan without having the manual inputs. But at the same time, you're able to have regulatory compliance. every country you go to supply your products, they will accept it because you are confident you already have the standards required for full visibility, but also to have the systems communicate. Patient safety. We are also empowering patients to be able to scan, to verify. And like my past colleagues have stated, GS1, in conjunction with the Digital Health Agency, the PPB, and the Ministry of Health and Safaricom, are working and have developed the National Product Catalog. Catalog, I mean, is a dictionary, a data pool where all products in the sector can be verified, a central source of truth that we can confidently all reference. Nelson Farmer will submit data there, the distributors submit data there, hospital systems are linked, that anytime a product is dispensed, we are all seeing the same information and we are verifying in real time. Forget the Excel sheets that may take years or weeks to reach my system. But we have a central source of truth that all information is accessible. And most importantly, we empower patient safety, that the consumer out there is able to get the product and they are very sure that this is working. So I believe you are now able to understand why global standards are really the way to go and why you as a manufacturer chose GS1. And I'm actually glad you're already moving the talk. The fact that you're already our member, you're already moving the talk. But I also want to challenge you to engage your colleagues. You have circles, former people in the industry. You guys communicate a lot, you talk a lot. Inform others. My colleague in training has told you, we are always available to come in your house. We speak to you, make you understand. But most importantly, we offer you also technical support on how to implement this. We are actively engaging everyone, but also moving into your facilities, talking to your staff so that the staff are empowered. Because I believe the best asset a company can have is empowered staff, knowledgeable staff, because they move the company forward. Systems are there, but can the staff actually understand and also utilize this? With even the evolution of the AI, as GS1 Kenya, we are moving the talk. We are pushing AI solutions very, very much. And we believe this is the future. So let me take you through how we are doing this and how we are able to achieve it. Traceability involves a number of events. These events are basically the questions we want to answer. For example, the chain I've shown you, if I want to know something, I'll ask about 5 questions. And the first question is what? What is this? You need to confirm. I'll give an example. What we normally use in each one of us, I believe, has an ID or you've traveled, you have a passport. When you go to the immigration, they'll ask you to produce your passport. Basically, they want to verify who are you, what is this? Like, you are in that case as a person who is moving, they want to confirm who you are, even the luggage you have and so on. But even your products as they move through, we need to have them confirmed. So that's an event to confirm. Who, in this case, who is the manufacturer? Who manufactured this? Where is it coming from? When was this done? Why is this happening? And where is it happening? When you look at healthcare in the hospital, these 5 questions are very key. Because at the end of the day, when you're doing an audit of a situation that has happened, probably we've treated the patient and they've passed on, we have to do an audit. We are going to have to answer some of these questions. What was it? Who did it? When was it done? Why was it administered? And where? So traceability answers these questions. And every question when you're doing track and trace has to be answered. GS1 standards are involved in all this. But I want to tell us the first starting point for us to achieve this is by making sure that everything that we are tracing is identified. The identification of everything makes anything possible. For the government to plan for us, they need to know every one of us, each one of us. If you go at the airport, they'll ask you, where's your passport? Basically, you're identifying yourself. So even your products are your children. Your company gave birth to those products. And there are areas where these products have been manufactured. There are areas where these products are going. There are people engaging with these products. So having a standardized and internationally recognized identification system is very, very critical. So GS1 identifiers build the foundation for us to achieve traceability. And I'm glad to tell you, all your products have to have unique identity. When you go to PPB to register your product, now it's a requirement to include the GTIN, because we need to know, is this paracetamol 500 milligrams? You know, is this saline 1 liter? 1 liter will be so much on a person. But normally, I'm just giving an example. We have to identify everything. So paint a picture in your facility, in your operations. Is everything that we do identified uniquely? Can this information linked to it be verified? You know, I'll go back to the guys in retail. When you supply your product to a supermarket, they'll ask you for the barcode. Do you know the reason why they do that? Because they have a lot of products similar to yours. If you know how many people in this country process milk, you can imagine. I can wake up, I tell someone I also need to process milk because I've gotten the opportunity. But the facilities and retail people are receiving a lot of milk brands. So to enable them be able to also have that visibility, but also accurate dispensing, they need to have the unique ID for each milk product. So even pharma, that's the analogy, that every component that we are manufacturing, primary and so on, needs to be identified. So the foundation is, you come to GS1, you get the GCP, which is the global company prefix. We identify your company in our entire global encoding. And then from there, we are able to now identify your locations, your products, and so on. So location identification and entity identification is key, the who and where. And how we are doing it as GS1, we are using global location numbers. So this standard has been in effect for a long time, but most of you are members and manufacturers and other distributors in the ecosystem are actually not using it. I'm surprised. You have something powerful, but you're actually not taking advantage of it. So the GLN enables us to have unique identity of locations and so on. I want to give you an example. Today, you have probably suppliers you are supplying, but those suppliers are also being supplied by someone else, and someone else is supplying another supplier. You see, because we are in a free market economy, we can transact business with multiple people, but even that other person can transact business with another person. We all have legacy systems at one point. And in those systems, we are identifying this person in a way that maybe we are linking with them. I can give you an example. You find that probably I have a colleague I'm working with, I'll say Justus GS1 Kenya. But I may have a Justus may also be a parent to some other person. So that person serves Justus father. Then Justus has a brother. The brother serves Justus as Justus' brother. You see? Then we have the government, they know Justus as a citizen. But for us to have that visibility and to know that we are all referencing the same person, we need to have a unique identity for this person. So the GLN enables us to have that. That once implemented, the systems are communicating uniquely, and also we are able to know that we are all referencing the justice that we're talking about. So the example I'm giving you is a hospital. The GLN enables us to have that unique identity, that when we are doing the transactions with this, we all know that this is the same justice they were referring to. In case there's a recall, probably the government tells you, which hospital did you give to? You say, I sent to Justice Hospital. But in my system, I have something like GS Hospital. How sure are you that we are all speaking about the same facility? Remember, systems work with identity. Computers work with numbers. Naming conventions may be complicated to interpret. So the GLN is one of the key standards that actually we are currently encouraging all of you to take use of. And even the government ecosystem, that the track and trace system in the country, they're utilizing the GLN to identify all parties involved, the manufacturers, the distributors, the hospitals, so that we are able to know that we are all speaking about the same thing. Why the GLN is important is basically it enables us to eliminate the unambiguous identification. In case there's an update, probably in my system I've updated Justice's identity or other information. I do not make another system obsolete. You see? So with the utilization of the GLN, we are all able to know once an update is made, we are all speaking the same thing. It makes communication simpler because we are all referencing the same thing. We don't have to use multiple names. So the system aspect is actually made simple. I'll give you an example. The GLN is making it possible for e-commerce transactions, data synchronization, and product recall. Right now, there's a requirement that actually all facilities are required to submit reports to the county and then to the Ministry of Health and so on. So even the government needs to know which facilities are in the country. And they had initially internal country codes. We actually sensitized them that no, at GS1 has an identity, a unique ID that can help you have this full visibility that is not only tailored for Kenya alone, but is accepted globally. Because my facility can treat someone from another country. And probably in their country, they are required to disclose what happened to that person. But because the identity you have is only managed in Kenya alone, it becomes complicated. But there is already a global language, which is a GLN in this case. So GLNs enable us to communicate efficiently. If in case systems are connected, we are moving with the ordering information and so on, we are able to know I'm speaking to so-and-so, that is the original person. And we're also able to confirm. At the same time, the GLN is also, we go further to also identify within your factories and locations. You need to know where things are happening. Yeah? You have multiple areas where things are manufactured. How are you naming them? You may find that your staff are calling that place the locker room, but the official name for that place could be changing room, probably. You see? So we also encourage to utilize GLNs within your internal operations. You don't have to worry about all this. We are there to help you implement effectively and also show you how this is being used. I'll give you an example. The NHS in UK has implemented Scan for Safety. So whatever we are talking is not rocket science. These are things that are working and are being implemented. Even here locally as GS1 Kenya, we've invested with our partners. We have a center of excellence for healthcare. It's a hospital, level 3 facility that we shall see later on, where we are showing that because we noticed traceability is not only for the manufacturer, but till the last mile. Our facility is able to also have that unique identity, but also track patients within the facility. You have hospitals that have over 200, 3,000 beds, but they are unable to know which patient was worked on yesterday. Probably the bed is not even identified. So the GLN is making it possible. The NHS has implemented this. In our facilities, it's implemented. I actually welcome you to come and have a look at it. And you see that we are moving the talk. We're not just speaking theory. And I challenge you, do not only listen. Take the mantle, reach out. Let's engage. You can put your questions in the comment as we proceed to discuss. So we've identified our place. We've identified the location within our operations, and even our stakeholders and partners have identified their locations in a standardized way that the government also is recognizing. We now go on to the critical part, the products and logistics that are moving within the ecosystem. This is the what. We need to know. What are these? Healthcare products are basically broken out into two categories. We have the farmer. I believe now the guys from the fast-moving consumer goods are learning something new. Pharmaceutical is basically those things that you see that we ingest, that you take within. Then we have medical devices. Most of these are part of the consumables that are used in administering the pharmaceutical. These are products, and they work within the ecosystem. So every regulated device that is used within the facility or in a patient care is regarded as a medical device. Could be even the software that you use to run the machines. So we need to know all these, because if I take you back, when COVID vaccine was being administered to you, they used an injection. That injection came from a facility somewhere. The vaccine came from somewhere else, but it's all being used to work on me. So probably I've reacted. Most people will rush to say it's the vaccine with the issue. How sure are you it wasn't the syringe that was used to administer the medication that had the problem? You see why it is important to enable us to have that visibility. that we need also track the items that are used in the processes. And I want to challenge manufacturers. Most of the time when we are identifying products, we only look at our end and the supply chain. But I want you to always think about the last mile. As you are identifying your product, are you actually empowering the hospitals to actually utilize this information in their systems? Because in our facility, we are actually showcasing all this, that we are tracking to the dot. If you've used an injection on me, a syringe on me, we need to track that syringe. The medicine that was used in it, the person that administered the medicine, the place where the medicine was administered, why, who was it administered on? We are actually answering all the 5 questions. And we are linking all this information back, that in case this patient has a problem and we need to do an audit why the patient passed on, we can actually sync and check everything. Was it the syringe that had the problem? Was it the person who administered the product that had the challenge, that they missed some steps? Was it the patient? Probably they had some hidden allergy with not capture. You see? Was it the location? Was the place actually sterile? Was it clean? You see how an audit can give us? But we cannot have that full visibility if we do not have accurate identification and information linking us to answer all those questions. So, how we identify the products? Every pharmaceutical and medical device follows this staircase. We have the primary, which is the company that touches the actual product and the consumable piece. Then, of course, for ecosystem and the retail sector and how the supply chain works, we have packs. Because I may be a manufacturer, I distribute to people who buy in bulk, and then those people will break bulk to supply to other people who are going to consume. So every product moves through this level. And we need to identify all levels. Most of you, I don't say most, some of you are only identifying the primary. You are forgetting the tertiary and the secondary packs. But that would mean you are not supporting your distributors to effectively track the boxes that you ship to them. You are only empowering the people dispensing. So we need to identify all packaging levels. And GS1 has these standards. We have the expertise. We are able to come and show you how to do that. I'll start off with the primary pack, which is the lowest level unit. As the example you're seeing there, could be a small bottle, could be the blisters. We have the medical device, a thermometer. We have the forceps, you know. And key of the attributes that now the government is requiring you to have is a global trade item number, which is the GS1 barcode number in this case that you get, the GTIN, but the actual name that we use in the ecosystem is global trade item number. But that's the barcode you normally see below the product you buy at the supermarket. Then we have the batch number, we have the serial number. This is becoming critical. One might wonder, why are we actually being required to put serials? I already have the batch number. I want to take a pause there. I already have the batch number. Why do I need the serial number? Nelson, you guys are stressing us. But this is the answer. A batch of, let's say, syringes. In a certain batch of a syringe, we can have over 200,000 syringes manufactured in a batch. Take a pause. 200,000 syringes. And then these syringes are going to go to multiple people. Remember, we are operating in a global landscape. Products are moving left and right center. How sure are you someone falsifying your product would not copy the batch number and print it there, and then they sell the product as yours? You ask yourself, I'm being told my syringes are in Congo, but I don't supply Congo. That's where serial numbering is becoming critical. That serial numbering, we are able to have every syringe that leaves my facility, every blister, every product that leaves my facility is traceable to the unit. That if we have 200,000 units manufactured in a batch, we are at the same time able to verify every unit. That in case someone falsifies my product, and I'm required to give answers why this product is actually having issues on the market, I'm actually able to also pose the question, is that serial ours? Meaning someone is playing with my product. So serialization is becoming a requirement. It has actually worked in the electronics business, in the airplane industry. Most of you have iPhones, you have laptops. You always hear about serial and so on. Yes, that's the reason. Because they also manufacture a lot and the counterfeiting is high. So serialization has worked in that industry. It's the high time we are also moving as healthcare to have our products serialized. That every unit that leaves your facility is unique and the serial cannot be reused. It goes once. But no need to worry. GS1, we are here. Invite us. We sit down with you, help you implement. There are already solution partners who we are working with who have the hardware, who are making it possible. You may have the hardware in your facility that can make this possible, but you have not actually expounded on those avenues on how to use it. So the other attribute we have is the expiry date, the production date. That's another thing that most people are now encoding. The others who do packaging date and so on. So there's a lot of information that we can capture, but the key one that the regulator is stating could among these. So once we've identified this product, we have all the key data we need. We need to have this data captured electronically. Right now, most of the manufacturers will have pre-packs that already have the barcode pre-printed. I understand this is a way that actually is also important for the business to manage cost. So you manufacture packaging material that can last you 2 years, 3 years. So the barcode comes already pre-printed. And the guys in retail, I'm also, as I speak about this healthcare part, the guys in fast-moving consumer goods, the guys who are making bread, whatever we are doing in healthcare can also help you. You may need to serialize your bread. I'm telling you. You may find that your bread is not supplied to Nakuru, or Nakuru is very close. Let's say it's not in Turkana, but you find someone selling it there. How can you manage to be able to know whether that product is actually yours? You can implement serialization. Every bread piece you produce is serialized. It's possible through the 2D codes. And that's why we are moving and saying that the current linear barcode we are having is really limited. We need to have a more capable code that can enable us have this information captured in full. So the data matrix that you're seeing there, it looks like a QR code, but it's not. It's a 2D code. It's very compact. It has some aspects of error correction and so on that even if it is tampered with, it can actually scan. That's why it is being pushed as the key data capture standard to be used in healthcare. All the information you're seeing there, the product ID, serial number, expiration date, the lot are all captured in the data matrix. Most of you currently are printing these things manually. The batch, the lot now, the batch and lot are the same. Serial number, and then maybe the production date being printed manually, meaning you're making it hard for us down the chain to capture this information because I have to now type manually to have this information put. So the data matrix, the data capture standard that we are using, and why it is also important is this picture. The linear barcode holds information in a straight format, like a linear format. Most of you, your products are becoming smaller. Can this kind of barcode fit? No. That's where the data matrix comes in. You see the difference. The other one is very long, this one is very small. It captures all the information in a small space. So it's a standard we are pushing. So having identified our primary packs, we now move on to identify our secondary packs. Secondary packs is basically if I have multiple bottles, I've seen people in the supermarket when you go to buy milk, you want a box, and then you find the manufacturer did not actually give a barcode for the carton, for the pack. So the supermarket person has to pick one by one, scan one by one. And I'm actually there saying, oh my God, this is our member. They're doing something wrong. But anyways, we are learning. So the secondary packs are also, if the second pack is a trade item, we assign it a GTN of its own because to support the distributors and other people who are selling in bulk to scan, but also identify them in their system. Of course, then we link all the other information that we had on the primary. Then we move on to the case of shippers. Most of the distributors in our country use shippers. And I actually inquired, why don't you guys transport in pallets and so on? They told me, Nelson, for us to maximize space in the truck, we load in boxes, shippers. Pallets sometimes take up a lot of space. So they normally load them in shippers. But there are other big suppliers, distributors like KEMSA, who carry in pallets, who receive in pallets. So we also need to identify the shippers because it's a logistics item. And the unit that we use to identify the shipper is what we call the serial shipping container code. Now, this serial shipping container code is already a serial ID. And if the shipper has the same products, we can also then include the products, the primary entities, items, details on the pack. And we now have to also include the global location number for the person receiving it. Remember what I told you? This product is leaving your facility, going to another person. So for traceability, we already have this GLN of this person receiving it. So all the information about them can be verified and also shared with multiple people. In case of a recall or the regulator wants to confirm something, information is there. Example of shipper labels, we have the homogeneous one. Homogeneous simply means same. If all the items in the shipper are the same, we have all the information about that shipper and the products inside listed. If it is heterogeneous, basically mixed, we won't be able to list everything, but we can just have the SSC code, the quantity, and then we have the GLN. These are things I want you to know that we are available. We can always talk and support you on how to implement. Case in point, even on the pallets, which are the logistics items, so we are able to move on and have it. And when we go to the next level, which is the aggregation is becoming a critical aspect in this case, because when we receive an item in bulk as a pallet, to enable us make it efficient, I just have to scan one label, the sticker for the pallet, and I'm able to have all the other information till the primary level. So aggregation is important, that we have the primary already identified inside the secondary pack. We go to the shipper level. It's also identified uniquely, and then we pack on. These are things that we are willing to come and talk to you one-on-one to understand in detail. But an example on how it will look like is something like this. The system is already there. The government has worked on the system where you'll be required to have all this information loaded. So forums are happening. I believe most of you have taken part in those forums. And I want to inform you, this is already in action. It's not a rocket science that we are speaking here. These are things that we are already doing and possible. I want to go back on product serialization. Like I told you, it's a requirement now. And I want us to always know that this is making it possible for us to have full identity till the last mile. So that also makes it possible for aggregation, because then we are able to know what units are in a certain pack. Remember the issue I told you of diversion that the global landscape causes? Development partners across the world have actually complained. We were in forums with Interpol and the other key stakeholders who really track products across the world and also fight counterfeits. And they say the challenge they're having is you find that a genuine product is in a certain area, but they can't tell. The manufacturer is also not aware how the product got there. So serialization is going to make this possible. As a manufacturer, if you have a consignment, probably Nelson has come and said, I'm supplying to Congo, you are able to know in this consignment going to Congo, the units that are there are ABCD. The serial numbers related to them is ABCD. You see? We also know the cases involved. That in case someone in Congo brings the product back in the market and they start selling it cheaply, you actually have the information. You're able to know this product was meant to be in Congo. We've had cases where a product is labeled as only meant to be for the whites, I would say for the Caucasians in this case, because probably our genes are different. You find that the strength is different. Maybe the African genes are very strong. We need to increase on the strength of the vaccine. So that vaccine is meant only Africa, or this vaccine is only meant for these people in another region. But then you find a pharmacy locally selling a product clearly labeled only to not for sale in this region and so BCD. So you see how a problem comes in. You saw that the medicine is not really functioning on you, but because there was a diversion. So serialization can help us have this removed. And as GS1, we have developed on your member portal, we now added a function where you can be able to create serials. Just log onto your portal, you go to more services, you click healthcare, you will see you're able to work on the services. We are also having multiple APIs. If you have your solution part developers in-house, you have the solution providers that you are working with, let them come to us, we talk to them, we help them to engage. Because even we are working with the government through APIs. We have the system, so we're just linking databases. We're not speaking the IT jargons, API, interfaces. And then from there, you're able to create your serials, have everything. Even those that don't have systems, we've made it possible that you can actually print within our into your portal. You can be able to print and label. But APIs can make it very easy for you. So we are making it possible. I want to remind you that the National Product Catalog, the one I told you that is a dictionary that is carrying all the verifiable data. As GS1, we are also pushing your data we have with you. So we have these attributes here that we are seeing. But at the same time, PPB in their system, I know they ask you for extra details that you list. So on our side, they'll pull some data. They also add other data onto it so that the database is robust. So the question I'm posing to you as a member, is all your product data complete? Yes, you have the GT. Is the brand name accurate? Is the product description accurate? The global product category is basically, like I told you, an example that retailers could be selling multiple brands of milk. So in their system, to be able to know that this product I'm looking at is milk, we have what we call a product category code. So that one is in our system. All you have to type is you specify the product, and then the code will be gotten from our global database. The specific net content and the unit of measure. Country of sale is becoming also a component. Like I told you, diversion. And then where most of you are actually fading, the image. Guys, the image. And I'm speaking because from the perspective that most of our members are not uploading their images on the portal. I don't know why. Because I want to tell you, as GS1, we have developed and also continue to work with multiple stakeholders to have platforms where consumers can verify. So if a consumer scans, and then your image is not there, I want to encourage you, go to your portal, ensure all the data is accurate. If your data is not clean, we have a full department in charge of data and verification. Do not wait for the judgment day, 1st January. Clean your data, have everything in place accurately, and then by the time the regulator is coming on your door, you are set. Then we upload this data on our global registry. Why I'm bringing this back is this registry is where all the other stakeholders across the world are actually referencing some of the data. We have stakeholders like the global partners I told you, the Interpols, we have the guys of UNICEF, the USA did that really collapsed the other day. And then we have other nations that are also referencing, because you are supplying to Uganda, you are supplying to South Africa, you are supplying to Ethiopia. Ethiopia government also has a system they've developed. They are all picking from our databases. So we push your data to these systems so that in case you supply to that region, you are confident your product information is already there. At the same time, accurate data is important because, number one, the master data I've told you, the product catalog, but at the same time, we have transactional data. You are communicating with your partners, the distributors, the hospitals. There's that information through EDI messages, electronic data interchange messages. So these help us to communicate. And then we have the event data, EPSIS, Electronic Product Code Information Services, which are making it possible. And this system in the country, the Ministry of Health and DHA are running it, that they want to know every product that is in the country. How is it moving? Where is it? What was it? When did this happen? All those questions can be answered. So information will be gotten in real time, that we're able to do accurate and quick recalls. But at the same time, we're able to have full visibility of the ecosystem. You see? So complete and accurate data is important. But I also want to challenge you, as manufacturers, you can use this data to your own in your facilities. within your operations, you have some visibility and statistics analysis. So do not look at this as a regulatory mandate, but take the initiative to also utilize it within your operations. Innovate around it. Build on AI systems. You know, data is power. We are moving into the age of AI. We are already into it, but who knows what the next thing is? Yesterday, my colleagues were here on the panel and they said, the next frontier is the product communicating to me. Have you written that? The next frontier in this sector and supply chain is products that can communicate to the consumer. Can your product communicate to the consumer? I'll leave it at that. So I have a video that is going to show you something, and then I'll be back.
Accurate product data exchanged using GS1 standards leads to improved patient care and more efficient procurement, warehousing, and payment activities. Manufacturer staff source and validate standardized product data. This is used internally and communicated electronically to customers such as distributors who import it into their systems and rely on it for procurement and other processes. For example, when a shipment is received, the distributor uses the data to confirm it is correct. When preparing a delivery, they rely on the data to optimize the shipment configuration. The distributor may add information to the data and will communicate the data electronically to their retail pharmacy and hospital customers. Pharmacists can refer to the data for ordering, to confirm correct dispensing, at the point of sale, or to adjust inventory. Hospitals rely on the product data from procurement to point of care. Standardized product data is as important as the product itself. It's a foundation of patient safety.
So, I believe in the video you've seen how master data is important and how we can leverage on it. But I also tell you, we are doing so much. Like I told you, we are innovating, but at the same time working with all stakeholders. And GS1 globally, in combination with Google, we've worked on a way that we are able to support consumers on how to access product information through the smartphone. Basically, we are utilizing Google Lens. Google Lens is a software, is a tool by Google that you can find on your App Store, on your Play Store, but also through the browser. If you see the icon of the camera, so when you click on Google on that icon, it will open Google Lens. And why are we doing this? The data matrix I talked about, we are also looking at how we can have now the consumers through the technology you already have on your smartphone to scan and see information. You know, as other stakeholders are also having systems and solutions, we're also talking to these guys who are already in our households, the people you move around with in your pockets, the smartphones. How can you leverage them to have this information accessible? So I have a sample image there. It's basically for testing. Trust is a platform by UNICEF. They are working with Google on this project and GS1 to be able to also connect the leaflet, electronic leaflet, through the data matrix. So if you take a time, open your Google Lens, scan that code, you'll see a leaflet. But at the same time, for cases where the manufacturer has not loaded is not on the Trust platform, the system will automatically link you to the GS1 verified by GS1 platform, and then you see the information that GS1 loads there. So I'll give you a few minutes to scan. Open Google Lens on your phone. You'll see a link appearing. Tap on that link. Do not search the picture, just scan. The phone will sense and show you a link. So tap on the link, you'll see a sample leaflet that we are looking at, and then you see what is possible. This is basically for only demonstration purposes of what is made possible. For those who have not been able to scan, I'll give you a few more minutes. So, proceed. So, cases where even those data matrices that are not on the Trust platform, when you scan, we have a resolver. It will lead you to the verified by GS1 platform. There, the consumer will see your company information and the product information in real time. This is active and working. That's why I asked you initially, is your data up to date? Do you have the images? And so on. Because consumers now are empowered. I can scan with my Google Lens and then I'm able to see. So I'll give you another video to just speak more on why this is important.
Scanning a barcode to access digital content means we can all have the latest information about the products we use whenever we need it. Imagine that yesterday you had been prescribed a new type of inhaler, but had forgotten the pharmacist's instructions on how to use it. Everything made sense at the time, and the inhaler is not complex, but it is new and does require some practice. What if it was possible to scan with your mobile phone the same product barcode when dispensed, and from this gain access to information online? This could include the patient information leaflet, which you could expand to make it easier to read. You could access important updates, and even see a video demonstrating how to use the inhaler. And you can scan the barcode as many times as you need, so you can review the information. A simple barcode scan can not only help you receive the right product, but also provide the information you need to feel safe using it.
So, from the video, you've seen what we are doing and what the data matrix is making possible. I want now to go on to the other standards that as GS1 we are actually supporting. Because like I told you, we have to also look at the caregivers and the last mile. Being able to answer the who, which patient received this product. As government and the other stakeholders, when they are trying to also look at the recall, they may be interested to know which people were actually impacted by this medicine. Probably we're doing a recall to give them an antidote. Are we able to fully understand which people were actually impacted by it? So GS1, we have a standard called the Global Service Relation Number. And this number basically we enables us to uniquely identify patients through barcode-enabled wristbands. But at the same time, even in your manufacturing premises, you can identify your staff. One will tell me, Nelson, we already have the national ID. Why do we need another ID to identify people? I want to tell you that we are living in a global space. We have people who come into the country probably is a refugee. They have no ID. Will you turn them away? How are you going to identify them? But at the same time, we have to have a globally recognized standardization that we can link in our systems, but also communicate efficiently. So the GSRN is enabling us to achieve that. This, I'm going to show you in a video later on, where we are implementing it in real time in our hospital, that we are showcasing to other stakeholders to know. The GSRN is offering us a number of benefits. As you're moving in within the facility, we may need to link you to a specimen. We took your blood sample. I believe most of you have gone to facilities, they take your blood sample, and then someone writes, this is prone to error. You know, someone is writing. We did a medical camp with one of our partners, a university, and we were tracking medical samples from the facility, from the premises where the medical camp is, to our laboratory. So we were able to actually achieve full visibility because every sample was being linked to the other patient in real time. Imagine a lab somewhere else. You've taken your DNA samples to test whether you have the paternity and the other things. How sure are you that actually this was not tampered with and so on? But also in real time, how do we link it? So we have standardization enabling us to actually also know that in the facility, they are working on the right patient. We have the right specimen identification, but also we're able to maintain an accurate link. And overall, we're able and we are sure that we are achieving this highest level of patient safety. I have a simple video. I want to show you this in action.
Point-of-care scanning helps minimize medical errors, leading to improved patient safety. The caregiver uses GS1 barcodes to check if the right product is given to the right patient at the right time. A nurse is treating a patient. She logs into the clinical record and identifies herself by scanning the barcode on her badge. She then verbally identifies the patient and confirms this by scanning the barcode on his wristband. This also opens the patient record. The nurse checks what has been prescribed, clicks on the medication due for administration, and also confirms known allergies. She selects the medicine and scans the barcode to confirm her selection matches the prescription. She can then administer the medicine to the patient. She knows that when the patient is home, he can scan the barcode on the medicine to access extra information if needed. The nurse confirms that all medications due have been administered and closes the record.
So, the video you just saw was really informative. And I'm showing you that traceability is really interesting when you have full visibility, but also if fully implemented. Just imagine the patient experience. When you're in a hospital, they scan your wristband, tick, the medicine you're using, tick, the bed you're on, tick. Even at home, I'm able to see the prescription in real time and the leaflet data. The experience alone is very interesting. Picture it. Imagine a facility you visited and had that visibility. You are sure that everything happening on me is traceable. The picture you're seeing on your screen shows us what is possible. That everything at the last mile is fully traceable. But at the same time, in your facilities, we can achieve this. In your manufacturing operations, you can ensure that everything happening is fully traceable and identified. So GS1, we are doing a lot, but at the same time, we call on to you. Do not just stay with the knowledge, implement. Let's work together. Invite us, we talk to you, talk to your teams. We are working with AI a lot. We are looking at pilots. We are innovating. I believe as Kenyans, but also as Africans, we should be the change that the world is looking at. We should not be just users. We look forward to innovations coming from your facilities. Maybe you're working on something interesting. You're making a clinical trial. GS1 can be invited. We get involved. We have very passionate young people who are always looking at developing the next new thing. I told you the next thing that we are looking at are products that are communicating to the consumer, products that are talking to me. So we are actively innovating, doing research, and looking at how we do it. I want to thank you for being a very great audience, and I want to leave you with a video of our Center of Excellence, where GS1 Kenya is actually implementing whatever you saw there. Our young people speaking to you and our professionals. And then we also welcome you to have a feel and visit it.
I welcome patients in the facility, then capture biodata and feed into the system, then generate a GSRN. And using a wristband, we attach the GSRN, then attach to patient wrists. We have two types of wristbands, the blue one for the outpatient and the purple one for the inpatient. Then after that, we direct them to the triage.
My role at GC is to triage patients, taking care of patients, administering medication, and advocating for patients.
I do sample reception, sample accessioning, and sample processing in the lab.
My role is to ensure safe and accurate medicine management. This ranges from receiving drugs to storage and dispensing of prescriptions using GSRN and GTIN. GSRN means a unique identifier for patient, and GTIN, drug identifier.
I am the person who sees patient through the consultation process, the one who will ask you a list of questions, come up with your treatment plan, including the lab works or any other minor surgical procedure that will be needed on you. I'll give you those opinions, then we'll decide together on that.
I follow up patients to ensure that there is complete drug adherence. I refer patients.
My cycle starts with identifying the patient when they come in with the data matrix that has already been placed on a wristband at the reception. So I'll capture their biodata and put my notes so that the patient I see can be traced back to me, that I'm the one who saw this patient. I'm the one who made the clinical decision to have lab interventions, radiological interventions, minor surgical interventions, and medical interventions as needed. So we can trace this patient. Even if they've gone elsewhere, it can be traced back to me, that I'm the one who saw that patient and I can talk on their behalf if need be.
Once the patient is in the lab, we scan their wristband, which displays all the information on the monitor. We then print the GS1 data matrix for each test, proceed with sample collection, check the already printed labels, attach them on each test sample which has already been collected. The samples are then moved to the main lab where they are processed, and the results are entered into the hospital system on the patient profile.
From the lab, I will get the results, come up with a diagnosis, develop a treatment plan, and we'll start using this treatment plan. But if this patient had issues like very high fevers or they're in severe pain, I will address that pain or that fever before I send them to the lab.
In the pharmacy, once I receive the patient, we scan the patient GSRN so that we can be able to view the medicines that has been prescribed by the doctor, select the medicines from the shelves, verify if it is the right batch, the right quantity, and the right medicine. Then from there, we print the prescription, attach it to the medicine, and we cancel the patient.
GS1 Standards has made my work easier by ensuring that the patient can be traced throughout the patient cycle at our facility.
Patient identification has really helped me as a clinician, because this is the foundation for patient safety. Through identification of this patient, it's going to make me have the right diagnosis, right lab investigations, procedure. If there is a referral, I will refer the right patient.
When it comes to traceability, this helps us to track and trace the medicine throughout the supply chain circle. It also helps to identify and remove recalled medicine from the supply chain, helps to identify counterfeit medicine and prevent it from entering the supply chain. So with this, we ensure patients' safety and quality healthcare.
I would say that traceability is improving patient safety, efficiency in delivery of healthcare. It is ensuring that the patient is identified in the right way with all their biodata, and interventions are also traceable from where they were recommended to where they are administered. Even if this patient is referred to another facility, they'll use all the data that was captured here to make further clinical decisions on this patient at the receiving facility.
When the patient scans this card, they are able to access their portal. But first, before they access the portal, they will be asked to enter the PIN for confidentiality. Remember, we also have the right to keep patient confidentiality. So for an individual to access their patient portal, they need to input the PIN, which we share to them through their emails. Card entails different sections of the facility. We have triage, we have lab results, we have doctor's notes, and we have pharmacy. So for instance, when a patient wants to access their lab result, they will simply go to their portal, they will scan, then they access their portal. So when they click, they will be able to access their lab results, or maybe if they want to view what the doctors wrote about their condition. So the significance of this card is that this card can be used anywhere across the globe. When one moves to, for instance, another country and they visit a hospital there, they can be able to still access their records through this card.
So, I believe from the video you've seen, we are moving the talk. Yes, we are moving the talk. And I want to challenge you as our members and manufacturers. Are your products able to achieve whatever we've showed you? Am I able to track the product against the patient? You know, because we are putting the pressure on these last mile caregivers to ensure that whatever is being used on me is traceable. But it all starts from somewhere. You as a manufacturer, are you doing the right thing? Are you identifying the products effectively? The government is investing a lot. They are implementing the systems. But you know, the systems rely on quality data. We are all involved. We are all gatekeepers. We are all playing a role. As I conclude, I want to tell you, Global Healthcare Center of Excellence is a level 3 facility that we are running. It's located in Mwalimu Park, Kisaju, along Namanga Road before you reach Isinya Town. You can always visit us. Come, learn, see. I'll be there. My colleagues will be there to talk to you practically how we are achieving this and how we are doing it. If you know a facility that you want to know and have this visibility, I believe you have partners that you're working with and they'll want to implement this. But above all, I want to invite my colleague. He's going to come in to talk to you the systems we are using that are making this possible and how we are implementing it. And later on, we shall come back with the panel. I thank you so much. See you.
Thank you, Nelson. GS1 Kenya being at the center of traceability and data management, we have built quite a number of GS1 software solutions that are powered by AI. I'm going to be presenting on a number of healthcare solutions that are going to present on how we are achieving traceability in healthcare facilities. Let us start at the hospital. Hospital management systems face quite a number of challenges. They use manual records to keep information, which can lead to more time-consuming operations and lack of traceability at the point of care. These same systems have minimal or no interoperability between the hospitals and the system themselves. These systems are separated, data is stored separately, therefore this means that we can't have flow of information from one system to the other or from hospital to hospital. These systems don't have adequate verification of GS1 standards for trusted inventory. And lastly, patient safety. These systems that are being used, they don't have adequate mechanisms to ensure that patient safety is observed correctly. I would like to introduce to you Tiba Sasa. Tiba Sasa is GS1's custom application for use at the point of care to achieve traceability and patient safety. This platform ensures full traceability and visibility in the patient journey. At the same time, we have full interoperability between the systems within the hospital and different hospitals. So this ensures flow of information when a patient visits one hospital and when they go for care to another. Tiba Sasa ensures verification of GS1 standards for trusted inventory. Whenever we are doing stock take, we are able to scan and verify that the products and drugs coming in are actually verified GS1 products. Tiba Sasa increases patient safety through scanning of the patient at every point of contact. They are given a unique identifier that enables them to be identified uniquely throughout the patient journey. Lastly, we have automated clinical and administrative tasks. These enable the operations to be smooth and ensures that we achieve patient safety throughout the chain. Second solution that I'd like to present to you is Thamani Dawa. Let us now narrow down to the pharmacy. Thamani Dawa comes in handy at the pharmacy to ensure that we are having patient care. For most outpatients at different hospitals, the pharmacy symbolizes the last step of the hospital visit. But at the same time, at the pharmacy, we also have a number of challenges that are faced. Thamani Dawa comes in to solve most of these challenges, and here is how. First, at the pharmacy, we have limitations in accurate stock take and inventory management. Thamani Dawa comes in to ensure that we're able to handle this and ensure that we're ensuring patient safety at all times. How do we achieve accurate stock take and inventory management? Thamani Dawa ensures that we are scanning in inventory using the batch and the expiry date to ensure that we're managing stock correctly and avoid wastage through expiry of drugs. Thamani Dawa also reduces shortages and wastage. The third solution I'd like to present to you, we have Wasomi. In efforts to educate the public on GS1 and GS1 standards, we have built our own learning management system. And here are some of the challenges that the current learning management systems face in the industry. GS1 standards face a challenge in terms of complexity and lack of adequate systems and learning management systems to break down this knowledge into simpler formats. Currently, we have inadequate active learner engagement. We also have learners lacking smart tools to guide and personalize their progress and customization throughout the learning process. To cater for this, we created Wasomi AI. Wasomi AI breaks down the GS1 content and ensures that it is simplified content for high retention and attention to the detail. This maximizes uptake, retention, and usage in day-to-day lives. Wasomi AI provides engaging content to improve learner retention rates and understanding of GS1 content for industry usage. Wasomi AI has AI intelligent tools for custom creation of tests and assessments to help learners gain the content on GS1 standards. Wasomi AI supports both institutions and individual learners. Thank you. Those are some of the solutions that we have.
A very good morning and welcome back again. Now it's time for our panel discussion to be able to understand what we have been doing this morning all the way headed to the afternoon. Thank you very much for staying tuned and for participating and joining us. Thank you very much. So before we continue, I would like my panelists to introduce themselves, and we'll start with the man in the microphone and a hat to be able to introduce himself, what he does, and get to know more about him.
Thank you very much, Eva. I'm Richard Odongo. Professionally, I'm a clinical officer working at Local Healthcare Center of Excellence. It's located in Kisaju, Mwalimu Kisaju Park. I'm here today to present to you about traceability in healthcare, and that will be my main focus.
Thank you very much. Well, that you've now gotten to hear in terms of what Nelson was presenting, as well as Felix and earlier on Geoffrey. That is more about healthcare. So right now our panel will be joined together with that, and Nelson will be presenting on that bit of academia together with healthcare. So before we continue, I'll allow Nelson to introduce himself another time.
Thank you so much, Eva. And I'm just excited to be back. My name is Nelson John Wiroth. I'm the team lead industrial engagement at GS1 Kenya. But at the same time, I'm the hospital in charge at Global Healthcare Center of Excellence.
So Nelson is wearing 2 to 3 hats currently, and very good of him and very time consuming, I would say. But Nelson, hats off for you because you're really doing a good job. But of course, we will begin by probably you taking us through the morning session in terms of what came in earlier for the viewers who have just joined us, that you're able now to tell them in the bit of academia, just a glimpse of what we went through, and you brush it off quickly to that before now bring in Richard to be able now to speak.
Well, education is key for us to achieve whatever we are doing as GS1, and empowering our members is also at our foremost as part of having them to be informed, but also understand how to implement our standards. So academia, like my colleague Geoffrey, our trainer, who has been to most of your factories teaching you, we as GS1, we've also noticed there's the challenge and the gap of having professionals coming through the industry from universities. So through Asomi AI, we are able to have professionals take up the courses. By the time they come in the facilities, they're informed about our standards, how to implement them. So we are taking strides, doing internal trainings. We are into seminars. We are speaking to stakeholders in forums. But now we are going a frontier that we are going to have professionals, change agents that have the GS1 standards and the knowledge at their fingertips. Yes, so that's what we are doing a lot. Yeah.
Thank you very much on that. Now I will just dive into it. You know, today Richard looks very different because as he's introduced himself, he's actually mentioned to us that, of course, he's the one who takes care of us. And you've seen that prior before in the documentary that came in through, and just elaborating more about GHCE. So GHCE is a center of excellence, and more of it is more of education and letting the public get to understand traceability standards in healthcare. So I would now bring Richard away from the scrub life and the stethoscope and everything, and just probably get to ask him, what is the very big difference that you're seeing in the healthcare? Because you've been in healthcare space for quite a while. So what are you seeing different now that you have been at GHCE for over 1 year since we celebrated our 1 year anniversary? What is the main big difference? Of course, administering medicine is the same, but what makes GHCE different compared to other healthcare facilities?
Yeah, thank you. With the GHCE and application of GS1 standards in healthcare, things are growing differently from what is normally done in the conventional healthcare space.
Okay.
For example, in our system, we don't get to have, in terms of patient education, identification, we have a common identifier for all our patients. So in other facilities, or the way other facilities work, you'll find that you have an outpatient number, an inpatient number. If maybe you have a certain number of conditions and you are admitted, then you are discharged through particular specialist clinics, like let's say orthopedic clinic, MOPC, medical outpatient clinic, surgical outpatient clinic, you'll get different numbers for all these clinics. But with us, you have one common number that is identifying you through the process. So this ensures that there is continuity of care using the same identifier for that single patient. Similarly, all providers have their identifiers, so it is very easy to know who saw this patient at different times. Sometimes you can go into a clinic, like a specialist clinic, and you're seen by a different provider at a given time. So it's very easy to know who saw the patient at different times. Besides that, we also do tracking and tracing of where, when, what has been used on the patient during the care process, whereby in terms of where, if you came in and your case was an emergency, it will be known that you were attended to at the emergency room, certain drugs were administered to you, other interventions like administration of oxygen was done there, and it will all be recorded there. It's also easy to trace lab works, investigations, whether it's lab or radiology, they're attached to the prescriber, the patient, and the person who did it, and also the person who reported it. So it's very easy to track, and everyone can give an opinion when a clinical audit is being carried out. So it's very easy to know who did what, and they can stand in for their own data.
Wow, very interesting. And thank you very much, Dr. for at least enlightening and taking probably our viewers to understand that that is probably what we say from supply chain to the bedside, and understanding probably when the patient walks in till the time they walk out. And you've talked about the specialists and many things like that. Well, I'll now dive back probably to the in charge, as well as now a person in charge of industrial engagement, just to probably tell us in terms of what level of collaboration really is required between the manufacturers, the distributors, the regulators, and the hospitals in regard to technology and AI that we currently have now, and we have the GHCE that is at the center of all of this. What kind of collaboration are you looking at this? And is it going to something that we can have a discussion with, or what would be your ask?
Thank you so much for that question. I want to say, when we started Gloco Healthcare, the problem we had was we would speak to our clients and stakeholders from a point of information, and sometimes with limited visibility on what is happening on ground. So you find that us running a facility has actually shown us a lot. I have some of our migrant friends who are our suppliers who are really doing a lot, but you actually see they have no systems. You find someone is supplying a commodity, it's coming from outside the country, they have no system on how you're able to verify. Some of them, the products come not identified. So the kind of collaboration we need to have is, we need to look at what the government is doing through DHA and the Ministry of Health and PPB, that having a centralized format where we're able to verify the products we're receiving in our facilities, the products that we're using on our patients. If we have that visibility that all information pertaining the products and the consumables we are using, because the Ministry of Health, through even the counties, we are required to submit reports of everything that we are doing. Reports on who was immunized, what happened, the vaccination schedules, the sicknesses, and so on. We registered. Such systems are there, but you find that products that we are using on the patients, we cannot link that. So interoperability through the manufacturers, the distributors, the regulators, and then also the hospitals themselves. But most importantly, we all need to speak one language. So if we're able to speak one language, that these forceps I'm using on this person, is it actually what the manufacturer did? Is it the right forceps that the distributors sent me? So that collaboration, that we all understand the need for full visibility and traceability in the facilities is really, because the last mile of traceability is until we've administered that product on the patient. So without that understanding and unity, and also speaking the same language and systems connected, it becomes a challenge. Because on ground, we are experiencing this, we are showing it to the people, but also we are getting to understand how the sector is working. And then we're able to talk a certain way. Asante.
Thank you very much. Just a rejoinder to that, because I remember Daktari here has mentioned that we're using a lot of standards in terms of identifying the patient, and when we get to the laboratory and many other things that we are getting to do. Just involve and indulge our viewers and let them know what standard is this and what is the term we have. I'm sure the GSRN, and you see, we speak GSRN. I'm sure probably some of them are wondering, in English, what does that mean? So probably just a quick flow in terms of when they get there, as we saw in the earlier video, Salima and Fanis receiving the patient and they putting the wristband and what else is involved. So probably just the terms that we have in that kind of regard. Let them know.
Thank you so much. And I want to send shout outs to my great team at the hospital that are doing a great job. So the terms that we are using, the first thing, I go back on the 5 questions I told you about.
Okay.
For us to achieve visibility. We need to know who. So once a patient walks in our facility, we need to identify this patient. So, and at the same time, we need to know the staff, the doctors that are working on this patient. Remember, we are building an audit trail that in case something happens in the facility and I'm required to say what happened to this person, the county is asking questions. What happened? So once you walk in, GS1, globally, we have a standard called the Global Service Relation Number. This is a GS1 identifier that helps us to link uniquely each patient. So once you come in, we capture your biodata and everything, we assign you this identity that links you to our facility. That every process that you will go through is linked to you. The other, so that GSRN is uniquely for each patient, but at the same time, all our colleagues, the staff that are offering this care are also identified uniquely.
Okay.
On top of it, we get their biodata, of course, nationality and everything, where they stay, next of kin, and so on. Then we go on to now to physically identify them, because having the identity in the system is one thing, but how do we make it possible for the caregivers to know that I'm working on the right patient?
Yes.
So we are now implementing the wristband. These are things you are seeing in movies, but these are possible things. You see them in the movies. So we identify you, we get the wristband. Now this wristband has your GSRN in a data matrix.
Yes.
So when you go the next step, as the triage nurse is asking you, they scan, hi Nelson, how are you doing? At the same time, they've confirmed on the system that your file is actually the one that is open. GSC, we are fully paperless. We are fully paperless. We are running everything digitally. So we scan. Then we have all locations in the facility identified with the GLN.
Okay.
Why is this important? Is
now
where?
I take you back. English.
Oh.
Translate and let them know. Is that a bus that goes somewhere? What is GLN?
So you'll see every procedure happens in a certain location.
Yes.
Remember, I'm building an audit trail.
Yes.
I know who the person is, but then I need to know where is this procedure happening. Probably someone is meant to receive care in the surgery. Then I find maybe someone is doing that surgery in the emergency room.
Yes.
You see, is the emergency room sterile and so on, you know? So we need to identify also the locations, the where, using the global location number. So the facility has a global location number, but even within the facility, the individual locations are identified. Once we identify this, we also have it captured on every room that someone can digitally scan, but also see the items there and the machinery there and so on. The other standard that we use in the facility is the assets. You know, we have various assets.
That's true.
And this is actually something I want to also indulge our members in and other stakeholders. There are those assets that are valuable to the company and the other facilities that are also involved in whatever we do. So we also identify them with the global individual asset identifier, those that are returnable, like oxygen cylinders that are returning back. We have the global returnable asset identifiers. So we're able to link it to the supplier and so on. Then, of course, the GT that our proud members are really doing, we also use it on the products.
Okay.
The last set of standards that we are using in the lab, once your specimen is received, we also identify that specimen. We have cases probably we've taken multiple samples from you, and maybe these samples are taken to another lab for further investigation. Could be our lab, maybe the machinery is, so we need to transfer those samples to another place. So even the samples are identified uniquely, and also they have a data capture standard that we can scan. We do not write. The other set of standards that we use is the SSC, the Safe Shipping Container Code. Although right now we don't receive so much in bulk, but in case where we are growing and so on, we may start receiving in big bulk, the distribution for Thamani Dawa and other things. So those are the few set of standards that we are currently employing.
Thank you very much for that. And at least now people get to understand that it's just not a center of excellence. It's actually taking you through all the standards that we've been having from training from day one. That was Joseph. And then we went to academia, and where that is where Geoffrey also told you, join Wasomi, so that you're able to understand more of this. So I'd go back to Dr. Richard and probably just ask you, patients rarely see this kind of technology behind the healthcare. Yeah. That is the truth. So if the GS1 standards are successfully implemented, probably what difference should the patient actually see from the conventional one that probably some of us growing up would go to the clinic with half a book and it's cut into two, and you go, probably we take your children for immunization and it's written in a biro. And as probably one of my colleagues says, the 7 becomes an L and a 6. Something is confusing. So what difference should the patient see, or in your experience on a day-to-day running of the facility, when they come in and they're used to get a number, wait on the queue and things like that, and you now start asking the patient, what medicine did you take? They say it was a pink paper, a brown paper, and things like that. Yeah, a round one. Give us your experience in terms of what difference the patient should be able to see now that we are embracing and imploring all of these standards.
Okay. With the GS1 standards in healthcare, the patients are bound to see a lot of changes in terms of, one, the identification. Okay. There is no error in your identification, because when you come at our facility, if it's a child, they'll ask the parent to either present their notification of birth or birth certificate, so that we can obtain the exact identification details the way they appear there. While the parent will give us others like locational details so that they're filled there. But if they did not carry it, the parent will be given somewhere to write them down so that they're recorded in the system according to the words of the parent. Okay. And that applies also to the adults whom will be asked their ID, or they'll write down their details so that they are captured accurately. Once they're captured accurately, those details will never change. They'll be stored that way in the system. You'll move to the next step, which is triaging. In triaging, this is where we take your blood pressure, your temperature, your oxygen saturation levels, just to see how your vital organs are functioning from a surface level. So this is done at every visit in the facility. So we'll have a continuous record under you of this triage information, or this triage data stored under you. And they have a date and a timestamp, where it was done, when it was done, and by whom. So that all is traceable. When you come to the doctor's room, where I sit now, you'll be attached to me, who is the doctor. So you'll be able, after I've seen you and recorded all your information, I've sent you for investigations, which can either be laboratory investigations, or radiological investigations. Once they're done, together with my notes, they'll be in the system. And also the medications that I've given you during initial interventions will also be recorded in that system. So at the end, when you go home, you'll be given a card. This card has a QR code. When this QR code is scanned, it helps you in obtaining all the history of your visit. Okay. From the time you entered the facility, how you identified, you'll see all your information, your triage information, the doctor's notes. your laboratory results, your radiology results, which does not happen in most of the facilities. Some of this information is retained there. So even if if it were in another facility that now I had referred you, and you don't have some of this information, there'll be breakdown in the process of care. But with our system, there is continuity of care because all the data and information about your medical history are captured in one place, and the doctor can review them and he can see a trend. And with the diseases, the doctor is normally interested on seeing progression of a disease, what is called pathology. It's either you are going into remission, which means you are healing, or it is worsening. So this can tell them you are at what level of pathology and how they need to intervene. So the patient will have continuity of care. So our system is helping in all that. And also if you had a drug reaction,
yes,
or reaction to any product that was given during an intervention, like maybe you have a delayed reaction to something like blood transfusion or blood product transfusion or a drug, and you need to report this, you'll just come back to the facility. Because all our drugs have unique identifiers, there is that batch number or lot number. This drug can be traced from that lot number to the main supply unit, which is bigger, and trends can now be seen within the system. That is with PPB. We will report this information to PPB. They look if there are other similar reactions reported by other patients, and this will help in creating data in terms of drug reaction.
good. So that means that we also are collecting data that we remit in the monthly report or probably weekly report.
Yeah, something like with something like drug reaction,
Yes.
the report is immediate.
Yes.
Yeah, and interventions are also immediate in terms of giving the patient comfort, intervening to ensure that this reaction does not go on, and also creating a data in the system indicating that they have certain allergies or they react to certain drugs, so that in future,
Yes.
if they're seen, it is already known that this patient has this kind of reaction to this drug, so you'll exempt them from using it, or you'll never prescribe them to that patient.
Interesting.
This, as I finish,
okay.
These also influence policy makers and
Yes.
regulators,
Yes.
like PPB. They'll be able to capture data in real time on adverse drug reactions, and this will help in improving patient safety in terms of pharmaceutical data and pharmaceutical products.
So probably I was cutting you short, sorry, before that, but I was just trying to ask you the conversation around traceability.
Yeah.
In your perspective, probably now as a healthcare provider.
Yeah.
Now we have been speaking about traceability in healthcare space, but would you probably comment and tell us traceability now has evolved from just being traceability, and is patient safety now a priority in the healthcare space, and how you look at it as a medic, and probably in what GHCE, in terms of the Global Healthcare Center of Excellence, probably speaks about?
Yeah.
Is patient safety a priority?
Patient safety is a priority, and it's the reason we are implementing GS1 standards in healthcare.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the main goal of implementing GS1 standards in healthcare, because once the patient is safe,
Yes.
all the issues that that surround patient safety
Yes.
are tackled within the standards.
Okay.
For example, when administering medication,
Okay.
that is the simplest example I can use in a hospital setting.
Yes.
The nurse or clinician or the doctor doing this will ensure that they follow the R's. The R's are normally a number of rights: the right patient, the right route,
Yes.
the right drug, the right dose, and the right frequencies also administered. So this ensures that the right person gets the drug in the right quantity through the right route and at the right time.
Interesting.
So that ensures that this person is not suboptimally treated, or they are not overdosed, or the wrong patient gets a patient gets a drug for another patient, or a patient goes into surgery that was not meant for them. These things have happened. Sometimes they're presented as comedy, that someone was operated on for the wrong surgery. He was to undergo an orthopedic surgery, but they underwent neurosurgery instead.
Yeah, and sometimes the joke doesn't really become very funny because the recipients are there. And now that gives us the understanding in terms of probably the patient safety that you're talking about. But I'll take a rejoinder probably to the in charge, who's Nelson, and ask him in terms of the hospitals involving and investing a lot in the data in terms of electronic medical records and digital health platforms. Probably, how important are the GS1 standards in making these systems come together and work together with the data and the investing in this kind of equipment and probably standards? Because everybody now, in terms of our theme for the week, it is AI technology transforming tomorrow. So what would you probably advise probably to our listeners and our viewers?
So looking at the systems that are already existing and how GS1 standards are coming in, like I told you, the Ministry of Health through DHA and the PPB.
Did you tell them DHA?
Digital Health Agency.
Correct.
Pharmacy and Poisons Board have really done a very wonderful job. They've come up with a platform that is going to oversee the entire country's supply chain for healthcare.
Beautiful.
And in the supply chain, even us as hospital people are involved, you know. And even from the record, if they were able to see, there was what they call practice 360 and so on, facility 360, such systems. So the requirement is actually coming on the door of the hospitals that your systems should be able to also interlink with the digital highway for the government, you know. And because these systems are already, the manufacturers, the brand owners are doing their part. They are uniquely identifying the products, they are submitting the data, but at the same time, you as facility people need to also submit your data. So GS1 standards are making it possible, but at the same time, you have to enable your systems to be able to consume GS1 standards. So through our technical teams, we are calling upon all facility owners, let us audit your systems. Let us look at the systems, look at the gaps. Some of you have inventory. You find that this is the challenge from the few facility friends of ours we've engaged with. You find that there's a gap in the pharmacy. The system will dispense the medicine, but now the pharmacist may go and pick from the shelf. But how sure are you that the unit they pick from the shelf is actually what the system has dispensed? In the long run, you're able to audit the system is showing the batch and everything, the serial, the GTIN is this. But maybe in that picking of the physical, there was a gap because you did not actually confirm that is the physical actually matching what is in the system.
Information gap.
Yes. Okay. So we are looking at engaging them. We are inviting them to come and see how we are doing it. Tibasasa AI, the system we are using, is able to also link the physical component before they dispense. You saw Irene, our farm tech, and Tessie showing you how we are doing it. That the doctors will dispense the product, automatically it reduces from the inventory, but at the same time, before the farm tech issues out the product, they cannot complete the transaction until they verify the physical to match what is in the digital.
Beautiful.
You see that? So, but most importantly, many hospitals have the systems ready. We just have to look at them. Let us audit, let us talk. We are able to support with API platforms to link, improve on your systems. Those who have no systems, Tibasasa AI is there. We can support you to digitize. And we are glad through the county government of Kaijado and the others, specifically where we are, they have been very good to us. They are listening to us. Even the community health promoters. We are looking at, because these are people who refer to us patients. If you're in the community down there, deep down the village, and you have a problem, the CHP, community health promoter, is the person who's going to refer you to the closest facility. So if they also don't understand how traceability works, some of them move with some products. You may have a lot of money, but when you're in a situation, the medical care available is what helps.
Yes.
So we are also engaging them. Can they understand? The government has also come up with Taifa Care at Babu, the system they're using in the county hospitals and the other government facilities. We are also talking with them. They are understanding. So the private people should not wait for the government to come knocking. Voluntarily, come to us. This Center of Excellence has been set up to support you on that.
That's
but I think
beautiful.
I've said it a lot. GS1 standards are empowering the interoperability, the efficiency,
Yes.
but at the same time communicating accurate and complete data.
There you
Real
have it.
time.
You can listen more of that in terms of following more on this. But the best way that you'd be able to understand more of this is also pay a visit to the facility, and you will be able to find Daktari on board and probably the entire GHCE team. They would not be possible for them to be all here, but of course we send our greetings to all of you, and they're doing an amazing job. And I encourage, when you get a chance, it's along Namanga Road, please take a drive there and get to see it. Get in touch with us, put in your details on the comment section so that we are able to reach out to you and be able to understand what would be your need in the healthcare space, or what would you want to see, so that we are able to come in and get to visit and get to understand. Of course, Joel, we are very grateful that you're able to let us know that this is information that is coming very well. Thank you, Mbwana, for also letting us know of that. But as we're about to just summarize and probably in closing, as we get to finish on this, I would like probably to end, ask Nelson, probably your parting shot. If we combine probably what we have had today, we have Wasomi, where we would like to onboard a lot of our members to come and learn more standards, because it's a good thing to have Traceability Week, but that only comes once a year. So it would be good for them to also understand what is GLN, what is GTIN, what is all kind of these things, and just summarize it in 2 to 3 words or lines and just tell them what is your ask and what is your call for them as we summarize on this.
Thank you, Eva. My ask and call for our members out there and stakeholders is basically to, first of all, look at empowering your staff. As GS1, we have Wasomi AI, which is our e-learning platform. Enroll your team. Invite us to come and speak to you. I like visiting these premises because it actually gives me the joy to see where things are coming from. We can come and do in-house trainings. We look at your systems and operations. Are you doing it right? We ask questions real time there and then. You see me, I see you, we talk. But at the same time, encourage even your other partners, the associations that you are working with. I thank the association for the professionals, the clinical officers association, the nursing association, the affairs people in the companies who do the regulations. They've actually listened to us, the associations. Wasomi AI, I ask you to join, sign up onto it, take the courses, and then we learn together. You'll be able to get deep insights in what GS1 does, how do you implement our standards. But at the same time, your teams also will benefit a lot. They'll be happy to see that actually they now understand. I don't want to be the only one understanding how these things work. But imagine a world where each one of us is speaking the same language. So it's very interesting, and we are glad we are moving in the right direction.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Nelson. And in your parting shot, Daktari, and of course, you will not end the show without not giving a shout out to, of course, there are our customers who are our patients, as well as the team all the way from Kajiado watching you and just cheering you on. Parting shots.
I'd like to thank each one of us who has joined this session. It's been a great one, and I'd really encourage facilities, not just in Kajiado, but also around the country, to embrace these systems, because they are the future of medical practice, not just the clinical practice, but also the aspect of data and safe patient management. I want to thank our viewers who have been patient enough to listen to us. This has been an oasis of knowledge, though in a short time, but much has been delivered. Thank you to the GHC team who are watching online, our patients who are in this session. Thank you all, and also to our sponsors and the big team here. Thank you so much for putting in the energy.
Thank you very much. And of course, we give a big shout out to our sponsors, Sonic Fresh. Thank you very much. Your fresh produce is keeping us going here. Gold Rock Coffee, we see you and we thank you very much for every single thing you're doing. Isinia Roses, the place smells heavenly. Thank you for your flowers. Axiom Digital, thank you very, very much for being able to walk this journey with us. And of course, each and every viewer and every person who gave a comment, both on YouTube, both on the Zoom, and everybody who tuned in, we would like to thank you for walking the journey today on day 2. And it has been summarized pretty well with that. And we would like to end the day definitely by just showcasing a quick and a short documentary in regard to what we've been talking about on the healthcare facility. Do not forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Of course, as we ended it yesterday, this has been brought to you by Traceability TV, and I've been your moderator, Eva Buyu, and Nelson John, Richard Odongo, as we say, have a good afternoon. Traceability TV, we trace it, you track it. One year ago, a bold vision was born. A vision to transform healthcare in Africa. A vision to create a hospital where every patient matters, every treatment is accountable, and every life is protected. Today, the local Healthcare Center of Excellence celebrates 1 year of redefining what quality healthcare truly means. Because healthcare is not only about treatment, it's about trust. Trust that the right medicine reaches the right patient. Trust that every procedure is done correctly. Trust that every healthcare worker is accountable. Trust that every step in a patient's journey can be traced, verified, and improved. At GHCE, this trust is made possible through the adoption of GS1 standards in healthcare, a globally recognized system transforming patient safety and healthcare delivery. Here, healthcare has traceability. You can know who treated the patient, how the treatment was done, what medicine was administered, where the medicine came from, whether it was authentic, whether it was the right intervention at the right time. This is not just innovation, this is protection, this is accountability, this is safer healthcare for every human life. Traceability reduces medical errors, it combats counterfeit medicines, it improves efficiency, it strengthens healthcare systems, and most importantly, it saves lives. Today, GHCE stands as more than a hospital. It stands as a benchmark for the future of healthcare in Africa. A learning center for hospitals seeking to adopt traceability standards. A model institution for healthcare professionals, policymakers, and governments who want to witness how traceability works in real healthcare environments. At GHCE, the future is not imagined, it's already happening. For 1 year, GHCE has opened its doors not only to patients, but to possibility, showing Africa and the world that healthcare can be smarter, safer, transparent, and accountable. This is a movement toward excellence, a movement towards patient-centered care, a movement towards healthcare systems that people can truly trust. 1 year of impact, 1 year of innovation, 1 year of transforming healthcare through traceability. And this is only the beginning. Global Healthcare Center of Excellence, setting the benchmark for traceable, accountable, and world-class healthcare in Africa. Global standards, local care.